Good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday. What's up? Good evening. Good evening. What's up, Kevin? You working tonight, man? Are you working tonight? Ba-ba-bum-ba. Get to chat. Seen something about a green Jeep in there. What's up, Jinx? I'm excited for Tuesday. Totally excited. What's up, Pam? Amy, what's up? Long time no see. I may have found a green vehicle. Who's it belong to? Murdaw's Randy? Shocker. Alex or Moselle sent the info. If you like the intro, hit the sub on the Grizz. Oh, we'll hit it on the topic. It's going to be open topics tonight. It's going to be a whatever. There's a lot of stuff we didn't even get to for the month of March. So it's just kind of, I couldn't even decide what topic to go with tonight. So I just said, you know what, it'll just be open. It'll just be an open topic. We'll talk about whatever. I'll have to check it, Pam. I did check some of the links up until about maybe 3 hours ago. I was checking out a couple of them. Got some stuff, but let me know what the subject line of the email is, and I'll go right to it. I'm so excited for Tuesday. Seriously. I got Jinx and Silky Southern blessing me with their presence. And I get to get filled up with knowledge. Because, see, I watch a lot of documentaries in real life. Actually, most of the stuff I watch is documentaries. Just about whatever. And shows like when I have people on here and they're kind of talking to me about cases they know about, and it's almost like it's like a real life documentary. So I appreciate the knowledge. I love knowledge. It's weird having a keyboard again. Open, open, open. Oh my gosh. Are you working tonight, Kevin? I guess not, huh? You're talking about a keyboard. What do you, huh? And what are you doing? Some kind of Lego thing? I saw on Facebook. Let me go to Kevin Kraft's Facebook real quick. Give me 1 second. We'll shut down the radio. Some crazy shit going on there. I don't know if you guys were paying attention or not. Dispatcher, I know how to do my job. I was like, whoa, shit's getting real on there. Couldn't believe it. Nope, I'm going to be in shop. We're on here. Well, I'm going to open up panel here in a second. Let me show your page real quick. Kevin Kraft. Meet the temporary Kevin Kraft mascot and next resin project. He wants to know, should he do a video on this or the real idea that's coming in the future? Well, I don't know. What's the real idea, man? What's the real idea? So we know what to decide on. What's the idea, man? If you want to deal with hyper news, well, here. Hold on 1 second. Let me flip the sign to open. We'll open up that panel. Clicks. There we go. I'll throw the link in chat. Why don't you tell us about it, Kevin? Anybody else that wants to join, you're more than welcome to. We're just going to be whatever. Whatever kind of night. It is open. Get your ass up here. Did you notice Kevin chat was saying you need a new picture? I don't know if you noticed that. What's up, man? Did you see
Not
chat
much.
last night?
What about chat
Chat-
last night?
Chat last night was saying you need a new picture.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So tell us about this Lego thing, man. I love Legos. What's up? What's going on?
Yeah,
What's going on?
No, that is gonna. I'm actually gonna turn that little dude into a debating between a sphere or like an egg shape. And then I've actually got some. I've got an idea about getting another Lego guy that looks more like me, and setting it up and using him as like an actual mascot and seeing if I can get my logo on him and stuff.
What about so he's a construction guy.
Yeah.
Why don't you have him building like a Kevin Kraft sign and then make like a half globe out of it? And so your little construction worker, you can lay the grass before you pour the resin or whatever, right? Lay the grass. So he's on grass. And then as you're pouring the resin, maybe you can strategically place the Legos to spell out Kevin Kraft.
All right, well,
and then put the resin in there, and it'll be a nice little half globe thing. Promote yourself. Do yourself a Lego dude, Kevin.
Yeah.
What's up, Grizz? How you doing, man?
I might have ordered a custom Lego dude this morning that looks like me with my logo on his shirt.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Which
You can
might
do
be
that,
what
man?
takes this. Yes, you can.
I want an evil CJ Lego.
It cost me about $17, but
so what?
You know, I figure to have one or two laying around, who really cares? Because I might be doing one in resin and keep one that I can play with, because you have to have one to play with.
Dude, can you send me the link to where you do that? I want to make me an evil CJ Lego guy with the hat on backwards and all that shit, man. A hoodie.
Yeah.
A hoodie, hat on backwards. I'm not wearing a hoodie tonight. I should get on camera. Fuck, I don't know what's going on.
Well, and you can also have your logo actually put on on their shirt if you want.
Really?
To. Yes.
Dude.
Because I totally have my logo on the front and Kevin Kraft on his back, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait.
So when are you supposed to get it? How long does it take?
They said I should be receiving it because it ships out of somewhere over in England, I think it is. They said it'll be, I think it was like 9 to 12 business days, because it takes 3 to 5 to make and ship. And then
that ain't bad.
No, it isn't. But like the problem is, if you want them to have a baseball hat, I think they only have baseball hats, and it's only like one color. So, but
cares?
then I hopped over to the actual Lego website and ordered the right hat that I want this dude to have.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent a little money, but it was under $50, so I figure it'll be fun.
Yeah, shoot. And then I could just, hell, if it don't come in the color I want, I can just paint the hat.
Yeah, you can do that, or you might even be able to find a hat for like $1 on Amazon for the right color.
Oh, yeah,
because when I ordered mine, I couldn't get what I wanted, so I just said no hat, no hair, and it saved me like $2. Like, I'll find it somewhere else, and I found it on Lego's website for 17 cents.
Wow. Dude.
And I might be a Lego nerd, like I might have just bought a Lego set yesterday. Yeah, I might have bought a Lego set this past weekend and just put it together this morning.
Man.
But
The Lego set I always wanted ever since I was a little kid and I never got was the space shuttle Lego set. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted that space shuttle Lego set,
Dude, you
but
would
I
be
never
so
got it.
jealous of my dresser. Let me get my Lego.
Ah, man, that would. Oh, you're gonna give us a sneak peek, huh? Here, let me go
Okay.
back to the big cam here.
This ain't no sneak peek. This is literally my
Oh,
dresser. I just got to move some stuff real quick because I'm in the middle of cleaning my room and stuff's gotten up in
yeah.
my way.
Dude, you should have your new avatar as your Kevin Kraft guy.
I don't have the Kevin Kraft guy yet.
Once
Once
you
I
get
do,
him.
I might do
Once you
that.
get
though.
him. Yeah, once you get him.
I'm hoping to get him by the next live because I might just save the resin and pour one for him instead of doing the test run. But I'll probably do the test run first because I want to make sure everything works right before I commit to using one of these super expensive custom-made Lego dudes. Not that the one that I've got in there now is much cheaper. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll be having some new logos coming up. Probably next weekend. Got a couple different t-shirts coming up.
oh, darn, part of my rocket broke. Oh, I'm gonna have to find that.
SRB, you got to reach out to me about that merch I was telling you about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting on my that picture info you were supposed to send me too. What the heck?
What are you talking about?
When she saw I could custom engrave wine glass, she was like, "Ooh, I want one with a beach theme." And I've been waiting for an email.
Oh, you mean SRB? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I ain't bugging you. I bug you all night. I figure we'll jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I gotta. Instead of "I love you, New York," it's "I love CJ." That'll be a new T-shirt coming out this weekend.
Okay, yeah, I remember you'd said something about that.
I love LA.
Let's see if
We
I can
love it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, here, let me go solo. Whoa, dude! What'd you put together this morning?
Oh, that was just that was a little. Ah,
dude!
Yeah,
the
lunar lander with
the
actual
moon
Lego
landing.
minifig. Yep. Back there, I've got the Lego Saturn V rocket.
Yeah.
If I had both hands, it actually breaks into the three sections that it's separated into.
Oh man, look at that! Which shuttle is that? Probably Challenger, right?
That is Shuttle Discovery with the Hubble telescope inside of it, with the solar panels retracted because I'm too lazy to release
That is
it.
cool, man.
And then back in the back,
Oh wow!
see, I've got the International Space Station too.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that is the. I refer to this as my NASA nightstand because I have a full Lego NASA program. And if they had more authentic NASA related or authentic NASA themed sets, I would probably already have them and have them built and put in there.
That is awesome.
And I will warn you that the Saturn V rocket alone took me like 16 hours to put together.
Oh, I'm sure, because you got all them little teeny pieces. You know, it's like,
and it's also just shy of, I think it's 3 feet long. Breaks into the 3 sections that it broke into when it actually took off in flight, and has the mini lunar lander that actually goes inside of it the way it was in the real shuttle. And because Legos are a bunch of nerds, there's 1,969 pieces in it because the shuttle launched in the year 1969. Like, you go through the instructions and they actually tell you this, as well as all kinds of other fun factoids and stuff. And there's I think it's 20 or 30 pages just of early NASA factoids that a lot of people didn't know. Or
Man, those are expensive too. Those
yes,
sets. Yeah.
yeah, I got
That's
the rock. I got the Saturn V after I closed on my house. Is it was, I just bought a house. I feel like I deserve a little something for myself. And it was right when it first came out, and I waited just long enough to where the people that bought them up cheap and then were selling them for like $500-$600 were out of stock, and Lego was restocked. And the space shuttle was my gift to me 2 years ago, and while I was down with my finger injury, I got this space station, and I forget when I got the lander. I might have
Shit,
got the lander at the same
you
time.
got the space shuttle 2 years ago. How much was it 2 years ago?
That I can't tell you off the top of my head. Let me double check. To Amazon! Because that's where I get all of my fun stuff.
Yeah. You have to let us know when you get the Lego, man. That's cool. I want one now. Damn. That's badass.
Oh! I was all confused.
So when are you doing the next project?
Which
when are you doing your next project? I don't know, whatever you're doing next. When are you going live next, man? On your channel?
Honestly, I might tonight, but if I do, it would just be like an ASMR of me just turning pens and getting stuff ready, because now that I've got that other store opening up at the end of this month that I got to have on my inventory and set up and everything ready for, I'm just trying to build up some inventory for in there so I can keep working shows too. But I'm probably gonna do I'm thinking about pouring this guy's resin here soon, but I haven't decided yet. Resin is expensive. You think Lego's bad?
I heard the prices of resin. How much is it? So whenever you do make, like, say this bowl that you made, right? Or that you were making, how much material cost was that besides your time and effort? Like, so people understand really, how
materials alone, because I got the golf balls for free. I had about $80 of resin in there, near as I can figure. And like the main company I get my favorite resin to use, which I do not have any more of, is currently sold out. I can't get it anywhere, and it's the best budget resin I've been able to find. And I really don't want to have to go to the stuff that's like twice as expensive, because that kit was, I think it was $280 for a 3-gallon kit.
For 3 gallons, wow.
For 3 gallons.
So how much do you sell the bowls for?
The one that I started doing the other day that I'm hoping to finish before the end of the month, with all the popsicle sticks that I did the outside on a live on, or I did the outside of it on a live. That one I'm probably gonna have. It depends what my final hour count is. That'll be between probably 3 to 350. But I mean, that's pure resin, and
yeah, that's a lot of resin, man.
Stuff. Yeah. That's why, like, I've had people ask me in the past, well, is there any way you can bring that price down? I tell them, yeah. If you want something mixed in with it, give me as much of the extra stuff you want mixed in as you can. The less resin I use, the cheaper it's going to be. But that's why I also like doing. That's why I like doing a lot of small stuff with the molds, because it takes like, I think most of my molds take like 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces. So you mix up, like I usually mix up a 16-ounce cup and a go. You mix that up, I can do 8 to 10 molds. So it goes a lot farther, because it's, there's no waste, there's no extra. And when I do bowls, I got to cut a good chunk of it out once it's ready.
Damn, so when that shit blew apart, that was expensive as fuck.
I'm trying to think. I had about 3.5 to 4 hours, which with what I charge my shop rate is about $100 for resin bowls. I usually just tack on the price of a replacement carbide cutter, which is another 20, about 70 to 80 in the resin.
So you
Random.
almost have to make those custom then, huh?
Yeah,
To order if somebody would want. You can't mass produce those things and have a shit ton.
I
'Cause that's
could, but I could. I just don't make that kind of money.
right. Yeah.
All right. And by the way, that space shuttle, if you were to buy it right now, it'd run you $200 for the Lego set.
Jeez, yeah, I figured. Yeah, that's a yeah, thanks for looking, man. I figured it'd be about that much.
Yeah.
That shit is expensive and
Well,
it's
if you
just
get the
gonna keep
regular
going up.
packaging, it's another 20.
Jinx. Jinx. Jinx is so damn funny. Her husband came and had to listen because you were talking Legos.
I love my
But she
Legos.
but she gave him the dinner, so he gave her the phone back. It was a fair trade, she said. Shit's
Hey,
funny as hell.
all I can tell you is I'm a kid at heart. Like just laying in my bed, I can still see a Star Wars probe droid, Mando's N1's Naboo starfighter, Poe's X-wing, a Y-wing, and these are all Lego sets for the record. And that's just sitting in my bed because I'm surrounded by Legos. They make me smile.
I'm excited to see what you got going on for this project here.
Like I say, I'm probably just going to pour some resin over the dude's head, call it a day, and I might actually mix that up and do that while we're on here because I can do that and it don't make noise.
That's a cool picture too, man. I like the picture, the neon effect to it and stuff. Pretty good picture.
That was actually a UV light because I was using a different type of resin that hardens under UV light. Kind of like what they put fake fingernails on for the ladies and the guys that are into that. But yeah, it hardens under UV light, and that's what I use to hold him down. So when I pour resin over the top, he won't float up there, so he'll stay right where he needs to.
Well, you should use that picture and put that as your thumbnail before you go live in StreamYard, man. So that shows up to people. And that picture right there, I'd be like, huh, I gotta check that out. That's a cool picture, man. So whenever you do that project with that Lego guy and you're gonna stream it, use that as a thumbnail first, so that's what people see, and that's a good picture. It's a pretty neat picture. What's up, Ava? I like the lighting and everything, man. It looks neat.
Yeah, it's actually one of the few shots you'll see in my basement shop because I have 2 production shops at my house because I'm spoiled. I am.
Legos. Dre, what's up, Kid Kitty? Dre taking a break. That tire. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll tell her that we're there with her. Aw. I'm sorry to hear that, Kid Kitty. Yeah, that's a cool picture, man. So, yeah, I love Legos too.
Dude, we need to have a meetup where we all get together and we all get a Lego set and we just hang out and build Legos together.
Well, I'm gonna try and go to that. What's that thing? Crime Con or whatever in Orlando in September.
Huh? I hadn't even heard about that one.
Yeah, we were all talking about meeting up there. Crime Con or something in Orlando.
Okay. Depending on what I got going on and where I'm at financially, I might be able to do that, but I don't know yet.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. And even if there's no tickets or whatever, because I don't think it'll get sold out, honestly. And I don't even need to have like the badass ticket or nothing. I think it'd just be fun just to get away from the norm, meet everybody, uh, hang out at this convention thing, and
Yeah.
who knows who you'll run to, even if you're at the store or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think it'd just be fun. I'd probably use a week of my vacation or something, but it'd only be a couple day thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would probably just spend the week down there or something.
Well,
Kick it in Orlando, you know.
I have to know, if you go down to Orlando, are you planning on hitting Disneyland before you come back?
No. I mean, I honestly wish I could, but I just,
Oh, I hear you.
you know what I mean?
I hear-
This economy,
That's the running
you
joke,
know?
so I got to keep it going.
This economy, it's not exactly pumping.
Oh, I hear you.
So
That-
Orlando would be, I'd already be spending a week down there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Right, it's not that much more to go to Disney.
Nah, I can kick it. No, shoot, whatever. Man. Whatever.
Hey, I'll be honest, the only reason I want to go to Disney World right now, or Land, or whatever it is down in Florida, I always get the two confused.
Poor Dre.
The only reason I would go there is just to go to the Star Wars place. I'd go there for a day and I'd be happy. And I'll spend the rest of my time at the beach. Thank you, goodbye.
You know what I mean?
That's
And
all I wanna go
SRB,
for.
yeah. I mean, I would probably have to rent like an Econoline van with no windows, you know? We'd have to fit everybody. And I don't mind driving.
I gotta know, man.
Econoline, no windows. Wouldn't that be the best?
I have to ask this though. Can we please get a big
Oh,
bowl
wow.
of candy?
No
and
shit.
Keep in the back, so when we're all in there, before everyone gets in, you have to answer yes to. Hey, I got some candy. You want to get in my van?
That's what I was saying to everybody. We'd have bags of candy in there and shit.
But you got to do it right outside of CrimeCon to see how many people
Dude.
freak out.
Oh man, I thought you were there when we were all chatting about it, man. It was a while ago.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah, man. We were all chatting, and I was telling him, "Yeah, I'll rent an Econoline van and shit, no windows." Fuck it. We'll have bags of candy and shit. Just as a funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We were talking about it, but it's
Kind of
it's
sad I
in
missed that
September.
conversation now.
It's September. What's up, Bruin? Long time no see. Appreciate you hopping in. Miss ya. What's up, Allison? How you doing? Yeah, let me check my email here. Something about a photo discovered and camera bought at auction. What link is it, Pam? Which one is it? I got the Polaris. Which link is it that you're talking about, Pam? I want to click on that right one. We're just sitting here talking Legos for a little bit. Yeah, man. Seriously, it's in September. I'd have to look it up again, but yeah, I was like, fuck it. It's a couple days or whatever. I'll just, because I'll be driving. I don't like flying. So I'll be driving down there and, fuck it. I'll just take a whole week, 1 day to drive there, 1 day to drive back, kick it for, 4. Kick it for 4 days, have an extra day before I got to go back to work, and it's a vacay.
You do realize you said you don't like flying to the dude that plays flight simulators more often than anything else when I'm a guest on your show, right?
Yeah, I don't like flying. Not one bit.
I'll
do it if I have to, but nah.
I hate the security stuff you have to go through for it, but I love being in the air.
Nah, I like the open road, man. I like hitting the open road. It's peaceful to me. And yeah, I'll fly if I have to. But at whatever cost, I'm not doing it.
Well, if I had my way, I'd be at one of the controls, but hey, I'm not a licensed pilot and they won't let me fly, so whatever.
You ever gonna try and be a pilot one day?
I thought about it, but thanks to a recent eye injury
Mandy Matney, number 20, green Jeep, timestamp 1050. Murdaugh Murders podcast. What happened to Gloria Satterfield? I'm not seeing. I got Murdaugh family photos discovered in camera bought at auction. I got Murdaugh Murders podcast. What happened to Gloria Satterfield? And then I got another link that says Lot 656 Polaris Ranger Crew ATV. I don't see. Yes, it is deep in there. Which email? I got family photos discovered in camera bought at auction. Murdaugh Murders, What Happened to Gloria Satterfield, and then the Polaris Ranger ATV. Those are the ones I got from you, Pam, unless I didn't get one. I know my email's been buggy.
What isn't buggy?
Let me get back to chat because I'm missing something. Let's see here. I'll be tuning into Letitia's court and doing time tamp. Nice. You know, I need to cover that case some more. I covered a little bit of it one night. It's very disturbing, the shit that took place. Oh my gosh. Yeah, when's that gonna be, Allison? Oh, it's... I'm sorry, I have so many links in my email. It's... Maybe it might be easier to just send it to me again, Pam. If you want to do that. I literally... Let me see, how many emails do I have? 686. Yeah, it takes a little bit. Yeah, just send it to me again. It'd probably be easier if it's deep in there. But yeah, man, September, Crime Con. Just see, even if it's just a trip down there without even the ticket to the convention. You never know who you'll run into. And I'd actually do some I'd do some live interviews, you know, because there's doors. So I'll be doing some interviews and shit. I'll be trying to find people to interview. I love interviewing people. So, let me see. I'm gonna see if there's anything on the breaking. And then we got there's a whole folder of March of stuff that we didn't even cover. I mean, hell, we did a show on Idaho 4 last week. And then right after I got done with the show, then we found out that there was a cop that had an internal investigation opened up because he was falsely testifying for over a year in another case prior to Idaho 4. So it's like
ridiculous.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff we didn't even cover. So I got, I just figure I couldn't even decide on a topic tonight.
That's on par with the lady saying, "I'll make the report read whatever you want it to read. Just tell me what to say."
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I really hope they start cracking down on that.
I don't know, man. Who knows? Maybe I'll run into JLR. Sarah Boone case is being delayed. Why is it being delayed? We covered that case. Oh my gosh. That's in one of the first few weeks of the show. We actually were talking about that case for a while. do. I have that Sarah Boone stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, we were watching the real videos and all that stuff. This is back in November sometime, late November. Finding experts
Expert witnesses.
because defense is having trouble getting an expert witness. Really? Cleaning up after dinner. What'd you have for dinner? We all love. What are you making for dinner, Allison? Let's see. Opening statements will start tomorrow after lunch for Gannon. The Gannon's case, they plan on evidence starting Tuesday. Better than cleaning up after Lego.
I warned you I'm hyper, and now I'm on a Lego kick, so.
Well, since I brought up the Idaho 4 thing, let's go ahead and watch something on it. Let me see here. Got something in here. And I thought this would be cool. This is from a news station in Louisville, Kentucky. I thought maybe, because I was like, some nights it'd be cool to just chill back and watch something since we can't watch movies. This is a documentary called Blow, the true story of cocaine, a bear, and a crooked Kentucky cop. From Louisville. It's from Louisville news station. And it's a 38-minute documentary, so I thought that'd be something cool to check out in the future if we all want to chill back and just watch something that doesn't have to do with these current crime cases. I know. I made sure I put mental marbles in my mouth. Louisville. Gotta say it right. Let me see if I can find this here. There's so many. Yeah, like Nova, another documentary, Mind of a Serial Killer. We could chill back and watch sometime. These are all non-strike shit, as far as I know. Sarah Boone. Where is the... It's somewhere. It's probably more than 2 days old. Yeah. Anna Walsh's husband's being charged with murder now. That was a weird case that we talked about for a little while. Mental marbles, yeah. you watched it, Jinx? Which one? Yeah, you gotta have mental marbles in your mouth when you say Louisville. Louisville.
I'm so happy that in Ohio we call ours Louisville.
Yeah, I've been corrected many times. It's Louisville. It's like, how am I supposed to say that? So then I put mental marbles in my mouth, and then I was able to do it.
Nah.
Here we go. Bed crime stories. Oh, okay, yeah. I want to watch it sometime. So if you guys ever want to chill back and watch like documentaries with me, we could have a documentary night. If there's a certain documentary that's not strikeable and you think it'd be interesting, send it to me. We could make a night out of it. You got a new pen today? Pen stuff?
Oh yeah. I want
So
the
you're
one
going
on my
live
supply.
after the show?
I might. I haven't decided yet. If I do, I got to get that phone charging.
Well, go ahead, man. I thought about maybe, I don't know. I thought about actually maybe trying to do some Jackbox tonight, but I know it's a Sunday night, But depending on... Ooh, thank you, Pam. We'll get to that first. Thank you. I appreciate that. If anybody else wants to hop up, you're more than welcome. Yeah, I just thought, well, depending on how the night goes with, whatever we go through in this stuff, maybe play a game of Jackbox at the end of the show or something. If anybody would like to play some Trivia Murder Party 2 or something, take about 20, 25 minutes.
It's too bad we can't get the pool game to work.
I know. I was playing it yesterday for the first time in forever, man. And I was having fun. I wish we could figure that out.
Next time you're playing it, you need to let me know so we can see if we can figure that out offline. So I was on it for a little bit last night.
I played it. I got home about 8 in the morning, and I was like, I figured I was just gonna play it for a little bit before I laid down.
Yeah.
So I just played a couple games or whatever because I hadn't played it for, gosh, how long's it been? A couple weeks probably. Okay, what happened to Gloria Satterfield? So the 10:55. Listen to Paul's call, 10:55. Okay. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate it. Let's see. So we'll go here. Let me get the link for the channel so I can put that in chat. The devil, send it to me, Jinx. Seriously. I mean, because that one Kentucky Bear one is only like 37 minutes. So if we could really, for the amount of one movie time, almost 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours, we could literally watch a couple of them and just make it a movie night. Because I definitely love to just chill back, have people up on panel, we watch a movie, and obviously we'd have to pause it here and there, add some commentary. It's always fun. Okay, so the Murdaugh Murders channel. Oh, yeah, it's got to be on YouTube, and it's got to be not strikeable. Because if I enter into that stuff, then we have to do it on Twitch, because I can do certain things on Twitch that I can't do on here just because of Amazon or something. So, but yeah, on here, if it's on YouTube and it's like a news station, PBS, different things like that, you're able to use those, and it's all good. You just have to add commentary to it, and then you have to just make sure you have some kind of music or talking during it or whatever, and you're all good. But I think it'd be cool to chill back and watch shit. I think that's even by more you do. Whatever. What are you guys talking about? All right, so this is Murdaugh Murders. Thank you, Pam, for this. And so we need to go to the 10:55 timestamp. And so let me get this. 10:55. So we need to listen to a call. So I'm going to pause the music. Give me 1 second. I wish I could just do all this with the hit of a button. That'd be so convenient. Man. Okay, so let's listen to this phone call. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate it. Let me make sure I hit like on the video. Turn this up. And I got the closed captioning on.
And tell them that they can look for a fellow on a 6x6 Satterfield.
Satterfield, what's the house look like out there?
It's offset off the road.
Okay.
It's a big house, got a long driveway.
With a long driveway?
Yeah.
Is there a gate or anything down there that they're going to need to come through?
There's two big brick columns they'll have to come through.
Okay, but there's no, gate code or anything that they need?
No, ma'am. And tell them that they can look for a fellow on a 6x6 Ranger.
6.5.
Okay.
Waiting on them in the road is green. You know they probably know what the Ranger looks like.
Yeah. You said
Fella's
green.
got on a black sweater,
Ranger.
a hat, and pants.
It's a little hard to hear, but Paul Murdaugh is telling the dispatcher that first responders should look for another man in a six-wheeled utility vehicle at the edge of the Moselle property. Sources have told us that this person was another worker on the property.
Okay. All right. If something changes with her, if she loses consciousness or anything like that, I need one of you guys to call me back right away, okay?
Okay, well, how long is it going to take? Because this pickup...
That I don't know. I've had them on the way since Maggie first called me. They were toned right away.
So notice right here, the dispatcher says Maggie's name. A few minutes earlier, she referred to Maggie as the lady. And maybe the dispatcher heard Maggie's name when she asked her for her name previously, but she did mumble it and it was very hard to hear. We were told by police that this is an unredacted version of the 911 recording and that investigators didn't edit any parts of this.
Okay. So I think maybe is that something else that you sent me, Pam, in the email about this 6? Okay, this is what they were talking about. Let me show you this. 1 second. Auction services, I might as well like it. So this... Okay, let me get rid of the comment there. So I don't know. I guess, let me see. Let me look at my notes here where the green Jeep was mentioned in the report. Because Dale Staley, or no, it was Dale Stanley. That's the gentleman that told Stephanie, Steven's sister, that a green Jeep was harassing him and following him. And I don't know if that's what they were talking about, was this vehicle right here. This looks more like a farm property vehicle, right? Like you got a big area of land, and it's something that I know when I was trying to learn how to play these farming simulator games, because I was like, I want to learn how to farm. Something I never even knew or did or even, but I'm like, fuck it, I was bored. So this farming game came out on Xbox, and I figured I would check it out. And I remember buying one of those things on my farming game to kind of drive around the property and stuff, because there was so much, but I didn't want to use a vehicle. Another picture. Because I thought maybe they were talking more about like an actual, like a Jeep Wrangler or something. Okay, I haven't got that email yet. Email's been being buggy. Are you on Twitter, Pam? Or Discord? I think it's considered a Jeep too. People drive. So this could have been following. So they consider that a Jeep? Okay. I'd have to look back in the report. And I thought I wrote the page number down, but apparently I didn't on that one. I just wrote down names. I'm looking it up, and yep, it's coming up Jeep. But people drive those all over around there. Okay. So that is a Jeep, huh? So those things can actually like keep up with a small, like you can really, I don't know, Kevin, would you be comfortable driving them things, chasing somebody on the street? That'd be pretty fucking dangerous for yourself, wouldn't it? I mean, you got no doors. That thing could tip over easy as shit if you're turning real quick. Next thing you know, that thing's rolling all over you and you're gone. that allows them to be on the streets? Those things are like go-karts on crack. No shit. Wow. I mean, do they come with doors and shit? Fun as hell to drive? Damn. I thought it was more like a ATV type or something. Huh? So that's the vehicle. So let me go back to this video again. And let's listen to this this phone call again here. And thank you for the link and the timestamp too. Appreciate it.
No, like gate code or anything that they need.
No, man. And tell them that they can look for a fellow on a 6x6 Ranger.
Okay.
Waiting on them in the road is green. You know what? They probably know what the Ranger looks like.
Yeah. You said like
Fella's
green.
got on a black sweater, a
Okay.
hat, and pants.
It's a little hard to hear, but Paul Murdoch is telling the dispatcher that first responders should look for another man in a six-wheeled utility vehicle at the edge of the Moselle property. Sources have told us that this person was another worker on the property.
Okay. All right.
All right.
If something changes with her, if she loses consciousness or anything like that, I need one of you guys to call me back right away, okay?
Okay. Well, how long is it gonna take? Because this take us.
That I don't know. I've had them on the way since Maggie first called me. They were toned right away.
So notice right here, the dispatcher says Maggie's name. A few minutes earlier, she referred to Maggie as the lady. And maybe the dispatcher heard Maggie's name when she asked her for her name previously, but she did mumble it and it was very hard to hear. We were told by police that this is an unredacted version of the 911 recording and that investigators didn't edit any parts of this. Now, it is possible that she got a hold of property records while on the phone. Dispatchers can do that. But those property records would say Margaret Murdoch, not Maggie. And maybe she knew Maggie Murdoch lived at the property because they were a well-known family in Colleton County. So whatever it is, it's worth noting.
Okay.
All right, but I think they're coming. Hang on 1 minute. Let me check. They're coming from somewhere on Belt Highway in Ruffin, okay? That's where their station is.
Thank you.
All right, but like I said, if something changes, call me back.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's crazy. And that's at the Moselle property too. So really, it's not that far. That's right down here is where the vehicle was located. And then that's the property right there. Not that far at all. Oh, I got it zoomed in too much. There we go. Yeah, it's not that far at all. Huh. And it's green. That's interesting they call that a Jeep. Thank you guys for checking and let me know about that. I would have never known because I'm not from that area, you know, I'm not familiar with the slang or whatever, so I appreciate you guys looking that up. That's interesting though. I wonder, I need to find out in the report where that gets brought up. Their land ownership was massive. Oh yeah. I mean, hell, you just look at this property. It even calls it Murdoch hunting lodge or some shit. I just put the location here just because that's where the actual house is right there. But Yeah, thanks for looking that up too, Pam. I know it takes time and effort to find this information and to go through it and this and that. So, and anybody as well, I appreciate the links, and especially the timestamps because it. I don't have a lot of time to actually pre-watch a lot of these. So whenever I get the timestamps, it's a blessing because it really helps keep everything crisp. I'm gonna go to bed crime stories now, Kevin. This is about that Idaho 4 stuff I was talking about when it comes to um, the internal affairs and such. And I wonder if anything's came out about it. I kind of know who, but I haven't really tried to get any information about it just because, out of respect or whatever. But um, it's definitely interesting, and it makes you wonder if it's going to affect the case. Hopefully not, depending on what type of role. Uh, or even what the internal affairs investigation is about. It could be about something so minimal anyway, but it could be something huge too. So, this is Bed Crime Stories. More info. I wonder if there's another video that she did that is like a part one. Let me look. Why is it doing this, YouTube? YouTube's been freaking crazy. All right, so more info. Okay, so this must be the first video, then the second video to it. So we'll watch this one first, then we'll go to the second one. And by the way, it is an open topic, so if anybody wants to talk about a certain case, let me know and we can look up information about that one too. And if you'd like to hop on panel and talk about one, you're more than welcome as well. Also, if you're not busy Tuesday night, you gotta make sure you're available if you can, because we're gonna have Jinx and Silky Southern Tea up there talking about the Flora Fire case. So definitely get caught up on the first episode where Jinx was on earlier last week, and we're gonna have Silky Southern on there too. We actually watched some of her videos about it as well. Very informative. Thank you both for all your effort and your knowledge.
Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, bed crimers. As always, I wish you the best. To anyone new here, a warm welcome. Thank you for checking out my channel. Let me just ask that after listening to or watching this video, if you learned something or enjoyed it, please do me a favor and smash that like button. Now let's dig in. Good morning, bed crimers. Sending you positive vibes for a great day, great evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Curious news to report today on the case out of Moscow, Idaho, against defendant Brian Koberger. Koberger is accused of taking the lives of Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Let's not forget their names. The Daily News is reporting that prosecutors in Idaho have disclosed that an officer who worked on the Brian Koberger case has been the subject of a confidential internal affairs investigation. The article says this probe could threaten Koberger's trial. However, let me caution you and me, that may just be the newspaper trying to put a dramatic spin on the situation. So let's not panic just yet. That's my advice, but of course, I'm not a lawyer. Some days I kind of wish I was. Here's what we know about the prosecution's disclosure. On Monday, a notice of a potential Brady Giglio material was submitted to the Latah County District Attorney's Office about a separate confidential investigation. That means an investigation about this officer. It does not refer to the Koberger investigation. I'm going to read you the definition of Brady Giglio material per the Daily Mail. But before I do that, let me just say that the term exculpatory evidence means evidence that could prove the defendant is not guilty. So just keep that in mind as I read these definitions. Here goes. Brady material is information that could be exculpatory for the defense. Giglio material is information that could impeach the credibility of a witness, which in this case would be an officer who worked on Koberger's case. End quote. Clearly, Brady material is very different from Giglio material. And because Judge Marshall put a protective order out to keep this information sealed, the media and the public, we're not going to be told whether this involves Brady material or Giglio material. And that's a bummer because obviously those of us who are invested in this case want to know. And I'm sure the victims'
That's
families
messed up.
want to know as well. This news is likely to cause them some degree of anxiety.
Why?
I'm hoping the prosecution was able to at least give them a heads up about this and maybe an explanation behind the scenes so that they're not panicking and thinking, oh my God, the case against this person we believe harmed our child is falling apart. Per the article, at the request of the prosecution, that protective order was granted by Latah County Magistrate Judge Megan Marshall to keep.
So it makes you wonder, since they're not going to release it, maybe it is going to hurt the case then, because if it wasn't going to hurt the case, don't you think they would release that? You there, Kevin? It sounds like you're taking a piss. Kevin. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm, I don't know. Kevin, did you fall asleep? Make some bowls, Kevin. Make some bowls, Kevin.
Hmm?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. What are you doing, man? It sounds. There's like a stream of water running or something. Did you fall asleep?
I might have for a minute.
Damn, man, you've been missing this shit about. Oh no. Yeah, I didn't know you fell asleep. Yeah, he fell asleep. Yeah, they basically. Here, let me rewind it because I want to listen to this again, but it's not good, man. This is about the internal affairs investigation and what they're releasing and not releasing according to this court document here. I want to re-listen to it anyway. Are you good, man? You should like do a couple jumping jacks or something. I feel you, man. I slept a shit ton. I didn't even get up till the early afternoon.
Yeah, it's just my back's killing me right now. So if I'm trying to not lay on a massager.
Yeah. Well, check this out, man, because this is interesting, and I think this is messed up, and I kind of need your opinion too, because, you know, with your whole LE connection, I want to know if this makes sense, man, because it doesn't make sense to me, and it almost feels like they're trying not to release something because of what it means. Let me see here. Let me go back to about right here.
Chapin. Let's not forget their names. The Daily News is reporting that prosecutors in Idaho have disclosed that an officer who worked on the Brian Koberger case has been the subject of a confidential internal affairs investigation. The article says this probe could threaten Koberger's trial. However, let me caution you and me, that may just be the newspaper trying to put a dramatic spin on the situation. So let's not panic just yet. That's my advice, but of course, I'm not a lawyer. Some days I kind of wish I was. Here's what we know about the prosecution's disclosure. On Monday, a notice of a potential Brady Giglio material was submitted to the Latah County District Attorney's Office about a separate confidential investigation. That means an investigation about this officer. It does not refer to the Koberger investigation. I'm going to read you the definition of Brady Giglio material per the Daily Mail. But before I do that, let me just say that the term exculpatory evidence means evidence that could prove the defendant is not guilty. So just keep that in mind as I read these definitions. Here goes. Brady material is information that could be exculpatory for the defense. Giglio material is information that could impeach the credibility of a witness, which in this case would be an officer who worked on Koberger's case. End quote. Clearly, Brady material is very different from Giglio material. And because Judge Marshall put a protective order out to keep this information sealed, the media and the public, we're not going to be told whether this involves Brady material or Giglio material. And that's a bummer because obviously those of us who are invested in this case want to know. And I'm sure the victims' families want to know as well. This news is likely to cause them some degree of anxiety. I'm hoping the prosecution was able to at least give them a heads up about this and maybe an explanation behind the scenes so that they're not panicking and thinking, oh my God, the case against this person we believe harmed our child is falling apart. Per the article, at the request of the prosecution, that protective order was granted by Latah County Magistrate Judge Megan Marshall to keep the material, meaning whatever this information is, from being disclosed to the public. The article further stated that the information was personal. So it's personal information about the officer in question. The article goes on to say this, and I quote, prosecutors are disclosing the material under the obligation of two Supreme Court cases, Brady versus Maryland and Giglio versus United States, end quote. So basically, the prosecution had to disclose this information. Here's what former federal prosecutor Niama Ramini speculated for Fox News about this situation. The material could be related to Koberger's case, or it could be information about an officer's past that impeaches their credibility as a potential witness at Koberger's trial. Okay, so that could mean that whoever this officer is might be someone the defense could show is not a credible or believable or trustworthy witness. And that could be because of something this person did in the past or in the present. Whatever the issue is, could be anything. It could be the officer having a record of DV, or maybe the officer was pulled over himself for speeding, and perhaps he took out his badge to show the officer who pulled him over and try to get out of the ticket. It could be that the officer smokes weed on the job, maybe in a place where it's illegal. Right now, no one except the judge, the state, the defense, the officer, and probably the head of the department that the officer works for knows what this is about. According to Ramani, the prosecutors, once they discovered this information, likely felt compelled to lay it all out in an effort to avoid any appeal issues down the road. Should they seek the death penalty, or should Koberger be convicted of the crime? Ramani is quoted as saying this: "In the prosecution's case, you're thinking ahead. Okay, I've got a strong case. You know what? I'm just going to disclose everything because I don't want an appellate issue down the road." End quote. I guess we're just going to have to wait and watch. Fingers crossed that if Koberger truly is the perpetrator of this crime, that nothing prevents justice from being served. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories, guys, let me know in the comments what.
Definitely sounds they're not wanting to release the information. So to me, it sounds they're not wanting to release it because they don't want. If I'll put it this way, if it wasn't going to affect the case, then why wouldn't they release that it's something simple or whatever, right?
That's what I would think.
So I don't understand. And I think they were referring to like kind of like a code word that would snap you out of your sleep that I was doing.
Oh.
Because when I did it last time when you fell asleep, you woke up. So that's what made me, when everybody was like, I think he fell asleep, I was like, oh, I go
Gotcha.
back to. So then I said, make bowls, Kevin. And then it woke you up, man. Seriously.
I just
Check
heard
out the
my
last
name.
show. Yeah.
I just heard
Oh,
my
I
name.
was saying,
like, huh, what? Oh, shoot.
no, I was saying Kevin before that. It's the make bowls that wakes you up, man.
Must be.
It is. But it's that code word. Yeah, man. If you need to go to sleep, go ahead, man. I appreciate you hopping up. But if you want to hang out, yeah, keep hanging out, man. I'm gonna go to the second video. This is more info about it, so I'm interested to see what this other info is. Let me see here. This is from 3 days ago. So this is still bed crime stories, and this is referring to the officer related. I love this intro music. Makes me think of Beavis and Butthead. Right?
Cornholio.
And come on.
Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. Good morning, good afternoon,
Awesome.
good evening, bed crimers. As always, I wish you the best. To anyone new here, a warm welcome. Thank you for checking out my channel. Let me just ask that after listening to or watching this video, if you learned something or enjoyed it, please do me a favor and smash that like button. Now, let's dig in. Hi, my friends. How you all doing? Wanted to share a little more information on the internal affairs investigation of an officer in the Moscow, Idaho case. We talked a little bit about this earlier today. To further clarify the situation, let me describe it as follows. The prosecution has basically had to let the defense know that an officer involved in the investigation is being investigated for some reason that is not being disclosed to the public. Because the details of this internal investigation are sealed, it's not clear who the officer involved is or how central to the Brian Koberger case they are. According to an article from CBS News, nationwide, some prosecutors and law enforcement agencies keep what are called Brady lists of officers who can be excluded from testimony or investigations for reasons that could deem them, meaning the officers, untrustworthy, meaning untrustworthy as witnesses. Idaho apparently keeps a statewide record database for police, corrections, and other law enforcement officers who have been decertified under the Brady Giglio rulings. Say that 5 times fast. Brady Giglio, Brady Giglio, Brady Giglio. Oh my word. Officers are decertified for infractions such as lying, code of ethics violations, inappropriate relationship, and misdemeanor and felony convictions. Since 2015, 396 officers have been placed on this list. And according to a report by the American College of Trial Lawyers, defense attorneys can appeal a guilty verdict if they weren't notified about this information in time. So let's say Brian Koberger is found guilty. If the prosecutor failed to notify the defense about this officer's internal affairs investigation, the defense could appeal the guilty verdict. Clearly, the prosecution isn't going to take that risk. In doing research for this video, I stumbled on an article from KTVB 7 News that discussed an internal police investigation from July of 2022. That investigation involved 5 then current Caldwell, Idaho officers and 1 former officer. Caldwell, Idaho is 298 miles from Moscow, Idaho. So just to illustrate an example of such an internal police investigation, I thought I'd share the details of this one. The officers that were being investigated were not accused of criminal conduct, but rather for violating the department's policies. The article said it was unclear if the 5 officers' alleged violations were related. One of the alleged policy violations had to do with an accusation of use of excessive force. The officers under investigation were assigned to non-enforcement duties while the investigation was going on. So it's possible that this officer in the Moscow, Idaho case could have violated the department's code of ethics and policies, or it could be something else. In other news, News Nation is reporting that the leather sheath that was found at the crime scene on Maddie Mogan's bed was sent to an out-of-state startup lab for processing. Ashley Banfield said it's unclear why an out-of-state startup lab had to be used to process the sheath for DNA instead of the Idaho State Lab. She was questioning if the Idaho State Lab perhaps wasn't good enough to identify the trace DNA. Per Banfield's guest, this means that Koberger's defense attorneys will seize upon this situation to try and raise reasonable doubt about the DNA findings linking the leather sheath to the Koberger family. So what I basically heard Banfield and her guest saying is that anytime the prosecution has to send an item to an out-of-state lab because perhaps the Idaho State Lab wasn't able to detect the DNA or its results were maybe inconclusive, this opens the door to the defense attorneys being able to question how reliable the lab's results are. That's all for now, and I'll see you next time. Hey, smash that like.
This is bad. Not good news. I don't know. It just seems like they don't want to. Why wouldn't you release it if you knew what? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, hop back up, Kevin. I don't know why you get kicked off, man. Your connection or something. So let me see here. I was kind of looking for another video here. This is Crime Talk, and I really like listening to Scott Reich. and his opinion on these cases, especially as a defense attorney. So we're gonna check out some crime talk for a minute and see exactly what his opinion is on all this, because I really value his opinion. Let me see here. We won't listen to the whole thing though. It's 21 minutes. All right, let's see. You got the docket, Koberger. Yeah, so it's only about 8 minutes here. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and go right to the part about the Idaho 4. Make sure I hit the like. Unmute.
And Koberger trial in jeopardy. Now, I saw this notice filed the other day, and we really didn't talk about it because I didn't think it was a big deal. But everybody out there is saying, oh my gosh, the trial's in jeopardy. Brian Koberger is going to be released. No, he's not. So what's at issue? Listen, the prosecutors have filed a notice to the courts and to the defense that an officer involved in the Brian Koberger case is the subject of an internal investigation taking place. Now, this is a notice that the prosecutor should turn over. They should do that. The prosecutors doing what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to turn over anything that's covered by Brady v. Maryland or US v. Giglio. And that's simple. And so the Latah County District Attorney filed this notice and said, we'll turn this over, but we want a protection order so that only the defense can have this and they cannot turn this over to anybody else, specifically the court. Now, remember, Brady material is information that could potentially be exculpatory. Anything that reduces the guilt of a defendant, the prosecution has a duty to turn that over. Additionally, under Giglio, it's a case, United States Supreme Court case, basically says that if there's material that could impeach the credibility of one of the prosecution's witnesses, which obviously an officer listed as a potential witness, then the prosecutor has to turn that over. Okay. So the judge, the magistrate judge who's handling this matter said, yes, we're going to have a protective order. Prosecution, turn this over. And guess what? It's protected because it's personnel files, which normally would not even be subject to a disclosure. It's privacy issues. So remember, the preliminary hearing is not set on this case until the 26th of June. And the prosecutors haven't revealed whether they're going to have the death penalty in this particular case, which is not a big deal. It's not there yet. It's not at that stage just yet where those decisions have to be made. And remember, Brian Koberger is the only person charged for the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Zaina Kernodle. All right. And we'll give him the presumption of innocence, which he's entitled to. But do not panic. This is routine stuff. Oftentimes, every time a witness list is given to the defense by the prosecution, if a police officer has ever had something negative in their personnel file, it gets a little asterisk, and then the defense has to go get it. Here, the prosecutor is saying, here it is. Now, there's no information to suggest or to believe that this is the lead detective and that somehow he's involved in something. Like I said, it comes from the personnel file. It could be a street cop who literally guarded the scene that had no real involvement in the case whatsoever. For all we know, it could be a DUI or domestic violence issue. Maybe somebody from the public made a complaint during a traffic stop that the officer was rude. And if he was reprimanded, it would go into his personnel file. Now, obviously, if he lied about it, that's something that can be used. And if this officer had an issue with his truthfulness or his honesty, that would have to be turned over. Did he lie? Then, like I said, it's ripe for cross-examination. Well, maybe if it's truly relevant, but it goes to his credibility and honesty, then there you go. So for all the people out there saying the case is in jeopardy, relax. It's not. Unless it was the lead detective and somehow he's accused of planting evidence against Brian Koberger, there's nothing to suggest it is. Let's be clear. This is nothing. Do not worry about it. Okay? Just relax. Next in the docket, the threat of imminent incarceration tends.
Well, that's
You're going to find
interesting.
out if
Whoa.
somebody has a.
That's interesting. So at least he says no worry. Let me see here. There's some new videos that came up here with some other cases. We'll check out. Baby Liberty's 2 months old today. It's crazy. 2 months old already, Cassie. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna right what Scott said, like, wow. I mean, here I'm sitting here going, holy crap, but really, he's a defense attorney. The dude, I mean, hell, I've been watching his channel for I started watching his channel when he was covering the Chris Watts stuff. Because he was always that's right when I started watching all this true crime stuff on YouTube and watching all this. I never really watched true crime stuff. And then when the Chris Watts thing happened, I was just like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, just all that shit, how it all went down and just everything. And that's when I started looking up true crime on YouTube. And that's when I started looking at for channels to watch. And that's when I ran across CDT and ATS News. I'll put their links in chat. Yeah, that's when I started. Those were the first two channels I was watching. And then I was watching Armchair Detective. He was covering stuff. And then, but I was really watching just CDT and ATS mainly. Yeah. I never really followed it until I started looking up. That's when I started watching YouTube a lot. I was ditching the cable, ditching cable. And I was like, shit, I spend more time on YouTube, watching documentaries and shit. And then that Chris Watts case happened and I came across CDT and ATS. And then I was like, whoa, this case is crazy. And then something came out on Netflix a while after, and then that was crazy, and I was just like, whoa. So that's when I started getting sucked into all of it. Yeah, it's been 5 years, 6 years now. 5 years, 5 or 6, something like that. That was a crazy case too. I mean, I did watch trials, and things like that, but I never got into it like where that's mainly what I watched, and then I even thought about doing a show, this show. I thought about it for quite a while. Thought about it for like 6 months before I actually started getting everything ready to do one. Whoa, finally? Thank you, Cassie. Hold on. Whoa, when did this come out? May 2022? Whoa. I don't want to... What? How do I get out of this? Chris watched. Are you serious? I don't want to. Fine. Damn it. All right. Chris Watts tried. Let me go to this article. It's refreshing still. Chris Watts tried to blame mistress for murdering his pregnant wife and 2 daughters. I didn't know he tried to. I remember, you know what would be interesting? Remember when he sat down and he had those, where the 2 investigators went up to Wisconsin and sat down with him, and it was like the local Colorado news station. It was on their channel, and it was like a part 1 and part 2. It would be interesting to sit back and listen to that sometime. Talk about Watts again. Would be interesting. The evil dad killed pregnant and their daughters Bella, Celeste in Colorado in 2018. Yeah, horrible. It has been claimed. Because I remember he was like trying to keep her out of it. Oh my gosh, what is it? Dude, these pop-ups are nuts. Okay, so basically, let me try and see if I can sneak through the little window here. Whoa. The 35, who's the David Carter, who spent 2 stretches in Dodge Correctional Facility, Wisconsin. With Watts, has told the Sun that the murder tried to be a messenger for his daughter's death. The 35-year-old told the publication that he's gotten close to Watts while he was inside. Oh my gosh. I can't do this. Come on. The 35-year-old told the publication that he's gotten close to Watts while he was inside for theft and possession, yada yada, on a unit for people who struggled among the broader prison population. Carter claimed that back in 2020 they were talking about God and forgiveness when he asked Watts what had been going through his head during the unalivings. According to Carter, Watts then said that Nicole had smothered the girls with their blankets and they suffocated. Watts also claimed she helped him get the girls in the oil tanks and dig the grave, and that his wife had been in the way of him. Chris said it made him feel sad that the girls were unalived, but that one of them woke up and saw that Shanann was unalived and would be a witness. Watts tried to blame Miss Kessinger for the murder, telling Carter he wasn't able to stomach doing that to his own kids, and he said that's why Nicole did it. A police interview in which she was grilled about her relationship has emerged on YouTube. The clip shared by Miss Watts' family reveals a chilling new detail about the last text Watts ever sent her. So what is that? Is there something on YouTube? If you can look that up. When the news of the disappearances hit the news in August 2018, she had grilled Watts for answers. Huh. I kept asking. Okay. The last text he sent to her was, "I didn't hurt my family, Nikki." So it said something emerged on YouTube. Where is that? So a police interview in which she was grilled about her relationship with Watts at the time of the unalivings emerged on YouTube earlier this year. So that was earlier 2022 when that article was written. Is it really over 2 hours long? I remember it was very interesting. Yeah, that was a great documentary. Yeah, 2022, so something earlier. Because it would be cool to have like the actual from the. I think a lot the local Colorado news station actually posted all of those videos. Wow, that's crazy. Exactly right. SRV. Let me see here. Supposed to be coming up with a. Thank you for the link, Cassie. Hopefully it's. I don't know. It's being weird. I think because of that article there. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Yeah, okay, I got rid of that link. The that one with all the pop-ups. Holy shit, I think that thing was bugging everything. Holy shit. Whoa. Oh wow, so this is 2 hours. Here, let me put that in chat. Thank you for the link. I'm going to save that to my playlist. I kind of want to put some shows in the rotation where we chill back and watch stuff and commentate on it, like, you know, decent sized videos, because we're always watching videos that are like a minute, a couple minutes. You know, it would be nice to actually chill back, actually commentate on some of this stuff. Let me see here, Murder Mysteries. Let me go ahead and subscribe. And there's the link in chat. Let me go ahead and click on this so you can have their channel as well. Thank you for the link. Wow, that's crazy, Allison. Oh, right there you put it. Wow. I haven't either. I don't know. I've kind of thought though. It always seemed to me that there was some kind of, and I don't know. It's just very sketchy, you know? Very sketchy. I know. It's those open topic nights, you know what I'm saying? I love Legos. So it was fun talking Legos. What's up, Skittles? That would be cool. Hope you're doing well as well. Yeah, if you'd like to hop up, anybody, you're more than welcome. Let me see here. So that was the interview. So I wouldn't mind doing a Chris Watts evening where we kind of chill back and watch some stuff about Watts. Let me see here. So I'm going to go to stuff that came out. Let me check my email real quick. Yeah, thank you for the link. There's some other stuff in there I wouldn't mind checking out too. Murder Mysteries 8993. These cases are covered. So this Georgia teen is recovering. This is a case we haven't even talked about. I know you guys have sent some links in the past here, so I definitely want to check this out. If there's a certain case you guys would like to talk about, let me know. We can even keep talking once if you want. It's up to you. It's just an open topic, open panel kind of night. We're just chilling back, kind of seeing what
For the first time, we are hearing directly.
Seeing what I got in the folder for March that we never really got into. I didn't either. It's all good. Chris Watts, yes, that would be. I watched the movie. It was sad. Yeah. Crazy. So crazy. Wow, that's crazy, Allison. I don't know if I put this up in the... More than welcome. All right, so this is about that Georgia teen. I never even... Trent... Let me see here. Lurk camp.
From the 19-year-old who survived a horrific attack in Georgia. His family calling some of the acts posted on social media torture. News Nation obtaining the exclusive audio message tonight and new information. The teen has been discharged from the hospital. He's now receiving care at an out-of-state treatment center. Well, it has been 12 days and still no arrests. He was hosed with water, bound in a chair, covered in spray paint, and dropped off by teams at the hospital where he entered the ICU. Brett Buffington with our news days, and still no arrests. He was with water, bound in a chair, covered in spray paint, and then dropped off by teams at the hospital where he entered the ICU. Brett Buffington with our News Nation affiliate in Georgia has the message Trent is sending tonight.
Hey, everybody. For the first time since we heard his story, we are hearing from Trent.
Wish a little support and caring. I'm alive and doing well.
After days in this Georgia hospital, a visit that started on a ventilator, Trent has been discharged.
Just know it's going to be a long time for me to get over this through the trauma. But one day, hopefully within the next few months or so, I might be back.
This family today telling me Trent is supporting the Glenn County Police investigation of the attacks he went through, saying Trent is a kind and loving person who was taken advantage of. This photo was taken Saturday of Trent heading to the out-of-state care center as he continues to deal with the understandable emotional damage. Trent ended his short message with a strong promise.
But justice will be served.
Police in Glenn County continue their investigation. Now, 12 days later, no one has been arrested. Brett Buffington reporting for News Nation.
Yeah, we thank Brett for that. I want to bring in former FBI Special Agent and News Nation Law and Justice contributor Jennifer Coffendoffer to talk more about this case. And Jennifer, it is such a tough story. Thank you for being here.
I know she don't.
Thank you for having me, Natasha.
Jennifer, can you help us understand? I mean, 12 days out, as Brett was just saying, the community they're pointing to these images and video on social media. They are saying that this is all the evidence you need. And investigators say they have successfully identified all of the minors in the images. So why have no arrests been made?
Well, it's certainly very frustrating, especially in a case like this that is clearly caught on video where we can see what happened. And they are just trying to cross all their T's and dot their I's. They have sort of one shot at this apple like we all do when it comes to this kind of a case. And they want to make sure they get everyone involved and that they have all the charges lined out as to what role each person took.
How will the fact that the suspected attackers are all under 18 likely affect the outcome of?
There's fucking video I'm sorry, I was checking some links in the background. Fill me in on this. There's fucking video of this shit?
Of this case.
Well, that unfortunately usually causes lesser charges and less time for these offenders. And that's really unfortunate because when you look at this, this is such a sadistic act. And people who are capable of committing crimes like this as juveniles are capable as adults.
That's a really important insight. And you know, when this was first reported, this was described as a couple of hazing incidents. Trent's father is giving more details. He says his son was covered in WD vomit, paint, glue, egg yolks, and spray paint, that he needed stitches. Investigators say that Trent was also force-fed alcohol. You know, when he was dropped off at the hospital, his blood alcohol level was nearly 6 times the legal limit. He had to be placed on a ventilator. He couldn't breathe on his own. Does this sound like hazing to you? Does that adequately encapsulate this? And does the wording matter as this case goes forward?
I don't know what to say. Thank God there's fucking video of it. Because then you know who did what. Yeah, the fact that when they're like playing these audio clips, they're not showing him. The fact that when they're showing the picture of him laying in the hospital bed, they edit out his freaking face. Does anybody have this video so people can see who the fuck did what? Because how can you get away with this if there's fucking video? And if this shit is this fucking crazy, wow. Like, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. People need to see what the fuck these people did if this is what fucking took place. Wow. Where they gotta fucking crop out dude's face. I'm sorry, I haven't checked out this case at all. I haven't checked out this case at all until tonight. Look at all those people just standing there. What the fuck is going on?
Likely affect the outcome.
I don't even know what like I see fucking dude laying there in a chair and I keep seeing them spraying fucking you know, water on him and shit. I still don't understand what took place. I mean, I'm sorry. That's the first time I've watched somebody laying in a hospital bed on this show where their fucking face was fucking edited out of the picture. So that tells you something right there. Protest in East Palestine. Couldn't breathe on his own. Wow. It was a party. They don't give a shit when they do this, so it's disgusting. This third time? What? Third time? What? Let me see here. I got a link. Did I already click on it? What the fuck? So there's protests going on?
An angry crowd protesting outside a hospital. They're asking for justice for a 19-year-old who's fighting for his life. His parents say he was forced by other teens to guzzle vodka, be tied to a chair, and then have unspeakable things done to him after he passed out. What
And this video is from 4 days ago. Thank you for the link, Cassie.
some are calling hazing,
What?
others say is simply torture.
There is outrage today as a teenager fights for his life in the hospital after a savage hazing. The young man was dropped off at the hospital by some teenagers he had been hanging out with. He was barely breathing. His blood alcohol level 5 times the legal limit. He was covered in spray paint and urine. They split before cops arrived to investigate. Police say this photo of 19-year-old Trent Learcamp was taken that night. It shows Trent passed out on an armchair, covered in...
What the fuck is on his head? A bag? So, okay, this is what I don't understand. How did he get to the point where... Like, what'd they do? Say, hey, drink 10 shots in a row or something so they could get control of... How did it even get to a point where this shit was even taking place? Yeah, it looks like a bag over his head. This is in Georgia. It's a bag taped to his head. 6 breaths per minute is where he was at. Good night, Pam. Thanks for hopping in tonight. But how did they get drugged as drinks? Oh, probably drugged his drinks. Yeah, but like, how do you get to the point where you're allowed? You know, I understand you're under the influence of something, because, I mean, shit. I'm just wondering how it got to the point where he couldn't even defend himself. Like, how did that happen? Let me see. We're about halfway through this.
Paint and garbage.
Wow.
The teens behind him are making obscene gestures. And his family says it wasn't the first time those so-called friends had targeted Trent. This video was posted on social media a week earlier. It shows Trent being taunted by the teens. He sits in a lawn chair, taking the abuse, while being sprayed with a garden hose. Trent's father says his son returned again and again to hang out with the teens.
What?
Because he has no other friends.
They knew that what they were doing was wrong. Obviously, you know, they're not children. Even children wouldn't do something like this. This is heinous. It's crazy.
Trent's plight has struck a chord with other families whose children have been victims of hazing. Danny Santulli was left severely handicapped after a frat party at the University of Missouri. That's Danny in the green blindfold with his fellow pledges. His family says he was told to finish an entire bottle of vodka in just a few hours. He suffered severe alcohol poisoning and was left unable to see, walk, or speak.
Wow.
His aunt, Chrissy Prelu, helps care for him.
This is getting to be such a epidemic, you know, that these kids are not learning. They're not learning that what they're doing is so harmful to these children, and you can die.
Cops in Georgia say they're investigating what happened to Trent.
If a picture could say 1,000 words, then the 1,000 words that picture would say was, that's a horrible incident that occurred.
Man, that is horrible. So that was a week before. Like he continued to show up? Yeah, that's a good question. How old is he? Hold on, it says 19. 19 years old. Yeah, 19 years old. Wow. What the fuck? All right, I'm going to switch to my Twitter here. Couple things. This is something that came across that was interesting. This is Unquestionably Criminal, UQ Criminal. So I'll go to their page real quick just to share it. Man, that's crazy. This is I'm not sure when this case took place, but a young woman vanishes into the woods with a stranger. 3 people would later be arrested for her brutal unaliving. It doesn't have much traction on Twitter, so I figured I'd take a look at it and see what this is about. A senseless abduction, an unaliving of nursing student Holly Bobo. When Holly Lynn Bobo vanished out of thin air on the 13th of April 2011, it stunned the local community of Darden, Tennessee. Holly was at home with her brother Clint. At the time of her disappearance, her brother horrifyingly watched as Holly walked into the woods behind their house with a strange man. She was never seen again. 3 years later, was found with a gunshot wound in the back of her head. She was trying to become a nursing student. Lived at home with her parents and brother. Her boyfriend Drew chatted with her for a while. So Drew and her boyfriend. Wow. But they found very few leads. So they did find the people. Yeah, we can go into that some night. I thought it was a cold case. I'm sitting here looking through it real quick. Sorry. So this is something that was interesting that came up. I just wanted to see if it was a cold case still. Here's the link to this. This has to do with Stephen Smith's case. I came across this. Yeah, I don't get it. Oh, it sucks, Allison. If I would have been not napping Wednesday and I would have went through my frickin' full report, page 98, was here yesterday afternoon, early afternoon, when I did a show, and I was finally getting to it. Here I'm thinking I was like, what the fuck is this? Page 98, white collared shirt? Whoa. This is when did this happen? I was so damn late on it. So this is interesting. This came across Twitter. This is the Stephen Smith case. On December 21st, 2015, South Carolina Highway Patrol Corporal Michael Duncan conducted an interview with Nick Ginn, Ginn, who at the time was an officer with the Hampton, South Carolina Police Department. Ginn has since been elected to Varnville Town Council. Duncan told Ginn investigators had tried to contact Wilson, and Wilson is Patrick, if you were in the show, but he avoided the call, the contact, and all. If you remember, the LE that was investigating the whole Daryl Wilson tip, when it came to Patrick Wilson and Sean Connolly, Daryl told Ellie that his son moved out. He didn't know where he was living. He didn't know how to contact him. That he was going to a Christian school. So the Ellie went to the Christian schools in the area, found out he wasn't a student at one, found out he was a student at the other, but he was not at school that day. And so that was the last time. They could never find out where he was living. So Duncan had told Ginn investigators had tried to contact Wilson, but he avoided the call, the contact, and all. According to Ginn, Williams relayed to him in a phone call on December 2015 that Smith was struck by a vehicle, specifically by one of the side mirrors on Connolly's truck. Now, it has been reported that Connolly was doing some patchwork on a mirror and had a mirror replaced. So it would be interesting to find out what this truck is and if there is a picture out there. Oh, yeah, you got to have those to be safe. Yeah, I was gonna play some Ryan Hall, y'all, at the end of the show, because I saw that video that came out before the show too, and I was like, oh boy, this isn't stopping. We need to let everybody know, because honestly, if I wouldn't watch Ryan Hall, y'all, I wouldn't know what's going on for the future when it comes to that stuff. I love Ryan Hall, y'all, because you get like a 10-day update instead of. Yeah, we'll check it out here. Thought about maybe trying to do a game of Jackbox at the end of the show too. I feel bad we haven't played Jackbox for a while. By the way, Friday night show, we're just going to be doing a hangout show, and I'm going to be hitting up Jackbox early. Kevin Kraft's going to join us on the panel for Jackbox night. So if you're not busy on Friday night, hangout, open topic, open panel, hangout show where we're just talking comedy or whatever, and then we're going to do some Jackbox Friday night. So if you want to play some games with us, hang out for a little bit pre-game, and then get ready for some Jackbox. The TKO game where we make t-shirts. It's 18 plus. You know what that means. Yalameter. Right. So basically, Daryl called me and he said, look, he said, this is what I was told. He said, Patrick came over to the house. He told me that Sean Connolly was drunk and hit something, Jen said. He said he went back the next day to see what he had hit, and he saw a lot of LE out there. So we talked to one of the LE, and then he had left, and then he learned, I guess by media, that somebody had been unalived in the same area. That's why the police were there. According to Jen, Williams told him Sean called Wilson crying, saying that what had happened. To be clear, I'm not saying Connolly and or Wilson unalived Smith accidentally or otherwise, nor am I saying they were being positioned as patsies by the powerful Murdaugh family following the crime, perhaps in the hopes of deflecting attention from something more sinister. All I know is SLED has reportedly zeroed in on Connolly and Wilson as the top suspects in the investigation as the agency brings additional resources to bear on this crime. Also, according to our law enforcement services, at least one of these persons of interest attempted to manufacture an alibi regarding their whereabouts on the evening Smith was unalived, which is obviously a major red flag. Hopefully, Smith's exhumation will yield some useful evidence for investigators as they try to piece together what happened on that fateful evening nearly 8 years ago on Sandy Run Road. Very interesting tweet. So I want to put that out there again, put that on the screen. Very interesting. I appreciate all the hard work that people do on social media to put this stuff out there. So I want to thank this person. Texas has tornadoes. Oh my gosh, tornadoes like crazy. All right, let me see what else I got here. And that is this industrial complex. Eisenhower's speech was crazy too. Definitely a good tweet there by Frantic Missy. So I wanted to show you guys something. Where'd it go? I think I got, here we go. Hold on 1 second. And thank you for this SRB. This link right here. Isn't this crazy? Because when we were talking about the Stephen Smith case on Friday night, the lawyer was saying, maybe early next week, we'll be in court and we'll have it'll go through the court and then hopefully it'll happen and we'll get the okay. But look, it's already completed. He's back. So when we were showing that picture where the headstone was off to the side a couple days ago on Twitter, over here, we already knew that. It was like, hold on a minute. This was yesterday, but there was other pictures before that too. So it was like, why, like that lawyer's constantly out there, right here. Here's that picture. This was from, Suzanne Andrews, March 31st. So we knew right here that something was going on. And then we watch a show where he was like, we gotta wait. We're gonna be waiting until the beginning of the week and all this other stuff. And I'm just sitting there during the show and I'm going, well, where did this picture come? Like, what are they doing? Getting the machines ready so as soon as it happens on Monday, it's already, that's where I was confused. So I don't understand the lawyers out there like crazy, talking about it being a hit and run, talking about, all these updates being out there and stuff, even if there's nothing new, talking about it. So that's cool. You get the news and information out there. I just don't understand the latest interview that we watched from that evening. there was no word of it happening. So I don't know what that's about. Sandy Smith. Exactly. They did it very quietly, no media. Maybe so nobody was gonna mess with it. I don't know. I just don't see. Yeah, I was gonna say that too, SRB, because with that link, I was like, whoa, it already happened. It's already like, I was like, wow. But I don't know. It's just weird. Everything is quiet about that. But nothing else was quiet. It was actually talked about a lot. So I'm just, not that anything happened was wrong. I'm not saying that at all. It's just odd that it wasn't, you know, there's been so much, there's been a lot of talk, you know. So why no talk about this? That's what's crazy. Yeah, I did save that to my playlist. I was going to check that out tomorrow at work. But I still don't understand, you know, page 98 of the report talking about a white polo from Officer Singleton. That's what I don't understand. Like, why is that the only mention of a white polo when you look at all the other transfer of evidence and even the evidence being collected? It's all about a black t-shirt. Even all the pictures, it shows a black shirt. So why is L.E. Singleton showing up saying he observed him in a white polo? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow night tomorrow the autopsy will come out and we'll do a show about it. Hopefully the autopsy comes out. And then Tuesday night we got Jinx and Silky Southern Tea. And then Friday night we got Evil CJ Show Hangout and some Jackbox. Trivia Murder Party. I kind of want to play a Trivia Murder Party game tonight. Just one. Steven's car. Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out. How long is it? It's about an hour, right, Allison? Let me see here. I know I added it to my folder. Yeah, if anybody would like to hop up, you're more than welcome. Just chilling back, going through different things tonight. It's an hour. I don't know. I just don't understand why so quiet about this. Yes, if you guys want to play Jackbox at the end, let me know. I'll make sure I put aside a half an hour for it. I'll probably be ending the show in about an hour. Maybe an hour and a half. There is some other stuff I'd like to get into and then transfer to the new folder for the new month. So I might actually kind of hang out for a while tonight. Just kind of go through some different things. So if you guys do want to play Jackbox, let me know and I'll make sure I put aside some time for that. Good night, SRB. Yeah, maybe they didn't want media. I don't know. It's weird. Just because any of the interviews that we watched from the attorneys, they were like always, they were the ones giving us the information about all the stuff before they went to the Yeah, let me see. It's 59 minutes. Reveal clues. Yeah, I do like that interview. There's an interview room. There's a lot of here, I'll go ahead and put the link. Why is it coming up with some weird... All right, there we go. Coming up with some weird link. The interview room. Let me see. Chris said he expects info in the next... We should... Yeah. I mean, it's got to be, you know. Good night, SRB. It's got to be like... And then they already have 2 suspects. I mean, we went through it in last night's show. You know. Aw. SRB said currently. Currently. Thank you, Cassie. Did I say SRB? I meant Cassie, sorry. So yeah, there's gotta be... You mean me, CJ? No. I couldn't see... I mean, maybe DNA, right? But I don't know about... It's been 8 years that I think they're going to have to rely on the autopsy, the skull fractures, you know, how the fractures took place. You know, when you... Hopefully there's enough evidence there. This is what I was afraid of, okay? I was afraid of, with it being so long and with the shoddy shit in the beginning, I was afraid that maybe even the evidence in the coffin wouldn't even allow there to be a legit autopsy because it was shoddy from the yeah, yeah. Is overtime over now? What do you mean? They always do, Cassie, before. Yeah, that's true. A snap of a finger. So that's the interview room. Very interesting video I'm going to be checking out tomorrow about... Allison, do you know, does he flag people? Is he cool on that? Where people show... Because I would definitely like to play some of it. It's very interesting conversations. I just don't know if it's something that... I know I know all the videos are long too. That's why we don't really use them that much. But it would be... I wouldn't mind going through... Because I do listen to it at work the last week or so. And, you know, I could always get timestamps on my own by listening to it. Because there is a lot of interesting stuff, especially with because the clothing and the shoes, the one that he did just on the shoes alone was very interesting as well. Since we were actually talking about Ryan Hall, y'all, a second ago, and it is an open topic, I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and we're going to watch what's coming up here. And thank you, everybody, for hanging out. And good night if you're heading to bed. I think Kevin went to bed too, man. I thought you were hopping back up, man. Where you at, bro? Ryan Hall, y'all. Let's see what we got coming up for these storms here. I do like to update myself and everybody. We do find out a lot of it. Plus, when you got storms going on in your local area, you know he's covering it. He allows you He allows you to know what's going on with your family too, so you know if your family's safe as well, even though you're not able to hear from them.
Over the past week or so, countless communities across the U.S. have been devastated by tornadoes. With over 60 fatalities, hundreds of injuries, and tons of homes and businesses wiped off the map, it's safe to say that everybody is ready for a break from tornado season. Unfortunately, it's only early April, so we are just getting started. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how we have yet another outbreak coming and why I think this one's going to be very different. First of all of our problems this week are going to be caused by this big blue blob. This thing is a trough of cold air that will be settling into the western U.S. on Monday. This is going to cause some heavier snow showers in the Cascades and down towards the Rockies, and the blast of cold air will make it far enough south to actually bring some snow to northern Arizona as well. For the most part, this is pretty run-of-the-mill West Coast weather. But do not be fooled. This big blue blob has more sinister plans for the future. While temperatures are plummeting in the west, temperatures will be rising quickly in the central and eastern U.S. In fact, it's going to be 20 degrees above normal in parts of Texas and Oklahoma on Monday. This warm air that's coming up from the south will eventually meet up with the colder air that's coming out of the north, and this is when we're really going to start to see the development of a full-blown storm system here near Denver, Colorado late in the day on Monday. The first people to feel the impacts of this storm will be up here in Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, and western Colorado as the winds start to get really gusty and heavy snow begins to fall on the backside of the low pressure system. And that snow is going to get even heavier as we go into Tuesday. A strong low project from the front range of Colorado up towards the upper Midwest, allowing for a lot of that warm, moist air out in front of it to get wrapped around to the backside and turn into snow. And speaking of snow, this is going to be a blizzard up north. We're talking about extremely strong winds as the low pressure system deepens. Now, this huge pocket of cold air aloft, along with the warm, moist air being drawn out of the Gulf of Mexico and the deepening low pressure system to the north, will be what sets the stage for our next big severe weather outbreak as well. You've heard me say this stuff all the time as it looks like severe weather is trough, cold and warm air clashing together, nadir juice. It's almost like everything happens the same way every time, which is partly true. If I see something on the models that looks a lot like how a past severe weather event has unfolded, it sounds the alarm. And that's exactly what's happening right now. This upcoming severe weather outbreak looks very similar on the models to big time severe weather events in the past. We call these events analogs, and there's some analogs for Tuesday that are very concerning. For example, we've got the April 26, 1994 outbreak, which led to $130 million in damage over parts of Texas up through Iowa. Also, there's the 2012 Leap Day outbreak, which killed 15 and led to $500 million in damage. All of these analogs show widespread tornado outbreaks that lead to a lot of destruction over the central U.S. But even though there are a lot of similarities here, it's important to point out that there are also a lot of differences. Our weather pattern is going to be relatively the same as when these analogs occurred, but smaller localized features that we won't uncover until the day of the event will ultimately tell the story of how this one will play out. I think the severe weather event on Tuesday will be very different, mostly because of the model guidance that we're starting to see. One of the big reasons this is different is because of the Colorado State University Machine Learning Probability Model. This thing has proven to be pretty accurate, and it's maxed out over a large area for Tuesday, more so than I've ever seen before. This basically means that there is high confidence that this event is going to be very significant. It's not very often that we see a trough this big collide into a giant warm sector like this. The warm sector of this storm being so wide means that every storm that forms, if it remains discrete, can become a long track supercell. There's almost an endless amount of nadir juice out. It's still really too far out to talk about exact timing, but right now it does look like the storms will start popping off during the afternoon on Tuesday from Texas all the way up to Wisconsin, and by 5 p.m. an outbreak of supercells could be persisting from Arkansas up through Iowa, producing large hail and tornadoes. Those will continue to progress eastward until around midnight, where a huge squall line with destructive winds will form back here in East Nebraska and start marching eastward. Long story short, it's going to be a long night. It's not just me saying all this. The Storm Prediction Center, which is the most capable forecasting group on Earth, agrees with me as their latest outlook highlights a huge area of the South and the upper Midwest in an enhanced risk for severe weather on Tuesday. Now, while all this is happening, there is a chance I'm not going to be here to cover this live. When I'm done with this video, I'm going to start the process of going to a bunch of different towns towns that were hit by the most recent tornado outbreak to try and help out with the recovery effort on behalf of the Y'all Squad. And since I'll probably already be out there, I'm going to make the time on Tuesday to go chase these storms myself. I will be live streaming that storm chase on the Ryan Hall Y'all Extra channel, and meteorologist Andy Hill will be streaming as well on his channel, and he's going to have access to all the live streams that I usually have access to, the chaser feeds, including mine, and he's going to be doing radar analysis all day. Links to those channels are going to be in the description below, and it's important to remember that I'm not 100% sure of what I'm going to do yet. I've got to talk to the team. I might wait until after this event to do the Y'all Squad thing. I'm not sure yet, but stay tuned. We're going to let you know what's going to be happening here soon. If I do go, there's a chance that my storm chasing adventures may continue on into Wednesday, but just a little bit farther east. The big blue blob that caused all of our severe weather on Tuesday will be continuing to push slightly east as we go farther into Wednesday. There won't be as much force behind it, but certainly leftover storms from the main event will refire during the heating of the day down here in the south, all the way up here into the Ohio Valley. Right now, because there will be less of a push from the blue blob, and because the main storm system starts to die out a little bit, the severe weather threat doesn't look too crazy on Wednesday, but it does still exist. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center agrees with me here once again, as they are already highlighting this area for severe weather on Wednesday. The main threats here are almost certainly going to be damaging winds and hail, but the tornado threat is going to be there. We're just not going to know much about that until we get closer. Regardless of the main threats, heavy rain and storms can be expected from Louisiana all the way up into the Northeast. And since all the momentum from the blue blob is being taken away, this boundary between cold and warm air will kind of become stationary on Wednesday, and that could even last later into the week. This could lead to a risk of flash flooding in a corridor from the Delta region up through the coal fields of Appalachia, so make sure you are ready for that. Now, let's take a moment and look really far into the future, and I'm just going to be the most honest weather person you've ever seen right here, okay? You ready? I don't know what the heck's going to happen. Honestly, I've been focused so much on these last few tornado outbreaks that I think the long-term forecast is just something I don't have the capacity for right now. I will say that what I have seen does lead me to believe that we are pretty locked in for an active severe weather pattern as we go deeper into April. And once again, either after filming the video or after this next outbreak, I'm going to be going around to several communities that were recently impacted by tornadoes to ensure that the Y'all Squad can live up to our motto and show up. Thanks to you guys and all of your support, especially those of you that have went to shopryanhall.com and gotten one of our stickers. We've been able to deliver nearly $200,000 in disaster relief directly to these communities with no red tape and no yes. It's helping people, and I'm so thankful for you guys for enabling me to be able to do that. Now, while I'm out here doing this disaster relief Y'all Squad stuff, I am also documenting it. So watch a recap video here soon that will show the true power of the Y'all Squad and the difference we are actually making out here. Just go ahead and slap that like button right now, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn notifications on so that you will be alerted whenever that video comes out. Also, you're going to be alerted the next time I do a live stream, and you might need that alert. So once again, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ooh.
Man, some nasty stuff coming through again. I don't know, Punksy. I notice I've been hearing for, gosh, had to be 2-3 months now. I've heard of YouTube. But it's crazy because it happens on my channel too. Like, I'll get a new subscriber or two, and the next thing you know, it's weird. Because I don't unsubscribe anybody. There's no reason to. You know what I'm saying? If people want to leave, that's their choice. But I don't sit there and... There's one person I've ever blocked. Other than a bot. And we all know who that one is. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because right when you hopped in, it said that you subscribed again on my Batismo. So I have no idea. Let me see here. I know when I put your link out. Yeah, because, gosh, I think it was last night, wasn't it? Even went to your channel on YouTube showing it and clicked on the link there, and then people couldn't get to you unless they actually searched you, Punksy. I don't know. Not sure. It is crazy though. Let me see here. We'll go to the updates. See what else came out. Yeah, it is. Yeah, they actually had to search you. It was weird. Maybe change your passwords or something. Probably should do that myself. I don't even know how you unsub somebody besides blocking somebody. So we'll have a new folder tomorrow. And then hopefully we find out more about this autopsy that was done again on Stephen Smith. Hopefully we find more about that tomorrow. We'll be talking Flora Fire with Silky Southern Tea and Jinx Tuesday night. I'm excited for that. If you want to learn a little bit about it, check out the show that we did last week with Jinx up on panel, kind of talking to us about Delphi and the Flora Fires. We watched the dash cam, very crazy case. So we checked out that Atlanta, Georgia teen that was assaulted. Checked out some Idaho 4, some weather. Let me see. This is Fox News. What happened in Nashville was a hate crime. Republican Andy Ogles. Sorry if I mispronounced the name. The good old boy system. That's what we talk about, the Murdaws. So this is a hate crime. We need to get that hate crime passed in South Carolina for Suzanne Andrews.
Joining me now is Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles.
Yeah, that's the link I put up
the
there.
Nashville district where the Covenant School is located. Congressman, they came after you about the picture, a holiday card, which was so ridiculous, so predictable. But would you demand tonight that Merrick Garland open a hate crimes investigation into this shooting?
Yeah, actually, I've authored a letter to the DOJ asking that this be classified as a hate crime and be investigated as such. Look, Federal Code 18 USC 249A1. You know, if someone willfully causes bodily harm because of race, color, religion, it's a hate crime, right? And so we have this shooter, this domestic terrorist who wrote a manifesto targeting Christians, children at a Christian school. This rise to the bar of being considered a hate crime, or at least being investigated as such.
Well, CBS has decided it's not worth mentioning that the killer was transgender. According to the New York Post, CBS executives, Congressman, said the shooter's gender identity has not been confirmed by CBS News. We should avoid any mention of it, as it has no known relevance to the crime. Your reaction to that tonight, Congressman? Because I'm sure they'd do that if the killer was a member of the NRA or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this clearly is just pursuing a leftist agenda. Look, you know, those folks that rushed and stormed the Tennessee state capitol. By the way, if you were to use J6 as the model, every one of those people should be incarcerated without due process. Obviously, as someone who believes in justice, we wouldn't advocate for that. But the model is there, and the government's being weaponized against us. But look, you know, this clearly is someone was deeply troubled. And the idea that guns are the problem here is ridiculous. This individual had, mental illness and a murderer. And, you know, those people that stormed the Capitol, they held up the number 7, meaning that there were 7 victims. No, There were 6 victims. There was 1 murderer, and that murderer is a domestic terrorist.
Well, I have to get your reaction to this statement from Senator Elizabeth Warren. Watch.
I just can't tell you how frustrating this
Wow.
is. Our children die because there are Republicans in Congress who continue to insist that we can't put just basic safety measures in
So
place.
you don't see.
Congressman, your response.
Well, look, the Crime Prevention Research Center conducted a study. In fact, it was just updated in 2019, going back to 1950. And 94% of all public mass shootings occurred in gun-free zones. The answer isn't taking away guns. The answer is letting any teacher who wants to get the proper training, and again, it's permissive if they want to do it, we should give them the opportunity to arm themselves and to protect our children.
Congressman, thank you.
Hey.
So this is a channel, Evil Exposed, referring to Audrey Hale, the person who committed this crime. And Audrey Hale, final text and past encounters, since we're on this subject.
Since the recent mass shooting at Covenant School in Nashville, a number of people have shared their past encounters with the shooter, Audrey Hale, as the search for a definite motive behind the elementary school massacre continues. We managed to hear from the person that Audrey reached out to, just moments before the attack took place on Monday, the 27th. Avariana Patton received a series of disturbing Instagram messages from Audrey, telling Avariana that she will be hearing about her death on the news that day. She was a teammate of Audrey's on the middle school girls basketball team. In these messages, Audrey tells Avariana that she is the most beautiful person she's ever seen and known all her life. Avariana was understandably concerned as she contacted the Suicide Prevention Helpline and the Nashville County Sheriff's Office. But it was too late as the shooting was underway. She said that she had not been on close terms with Audrey since their middle school days, and that she was not even aware that Audrey came out as transgender, saying that she only knew her when they were kids, when they were younger. She said she didn't know the adult Audrey. She described Audrey as super timid and explained that they had a real camaraderie, saying that they were like a family on the basketball court. A former art teacher of Audrey's said she recalled seeing a Facebook post from Audrey, openly grieving the death of someone she assumed must have been a romantic partner, and in that post, she announced that she wanted to be addressed as a male. She also remembered seeing Audrey break down in tears of frustration on the first day of college, after struggling to set up a password for an online student portal. Also, a former classmate of Audrey's, Samira Hardcastle, recalled Audrey as being tomboyish, and also felt that Audrey definitely admired, or was maybe even infatuated with the mentioned friend that had passed away. She continued saying that she had seen Audrey about a month ago when they both happened to attend a taping of Avariana's radio show, and recalled seeing Audrey there, alone, by herself. Another teammate on basketball team, Mia Phillips, likewise remembered Audrey as withdrawn and shy in her middle school days. She said that Audrey regularly contacted her on social media and told the media that she's trying to be as respectful and also as honest as possible when describing her encounters with Audrey, saying that she felt Audrey was obsessive and it felt like stalkerish behavior from Audrey. She also explained about a bizarre episode where Audrey had turned up uninvited to another friend's birthday party and had appeared to pretend to be drunk, despite not consuming any alcohol at the gathering, saying that everybody was focused and that it just gave everyone a really negative feeling, saying it didn't feel right. From these statements, it appears, to me at least, that Audrey was pretty lonely and didn't really have many friends, and as a result, she would have had a lot of time, alone, with her own thoughts. Let me know what you gathered from these past encounters.
In the wake of another horrific school shooting, 6 people, including 3 children, gunned down in Nashville this past week. So many conversations over what can be done to keep students and staff safe are being held all across this country. And short of legislation at the federal level, a security company based in Alabama is currently piloting a bulletproof fold-out safe room that could provide cover during an active shooter situation. Here with us now is the owner of KT Security Solutions, creator of that safe room, Kevin Thomas. Kevin, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you all for having us this evening.
Yeah, and it is lost on me because we were speaking just a week ago, and that was the day before the tragedy unfolded in Nashville. And so we are here with yet another school shooting making headlines. What has changed for you, if anything, in the last week? Do you feel an even greater sense of urgency to move forward with these safe rooms?
I do. It just goes to show you that we need to have something in place when we fix these bigger issues as a country. So, there's a layered approach, I think, that is needed. I don't think we're a one size fits all, and I don't think there's any other products or services for that matter that are a one size fit all. I mean, I think we need to have a layered system which, will include resource officers, will recruit or include shooter detection systems as far as pinpointing where the shots are, so where proximity to that and what you do have in your plan to either evacuate or to shelter in place. And if we're sheltering in place, obviously that's where ours come into account. As you can see, the officers in Nashville did an extremely extraordinary job in handling the situation, about as timely as you can do it in real time, considering what they were up against. And with that said, we still are in a 2-minute range, and in that 2-minute range, there's a lot of things that can happen. And if we have some things in place that can allow them to be in a safe haven, so to speak, inside the school in that 2 minutes response time, hopefully outcomes will be different in these situations. And as we are learning, the shooter saw that there was more security at a different school that she was targeting, and since that had security there, she said, well, that's not going to be my most effective place, and she went to a different school. So it just shows you that when you have security things in place, people do take those into account when they're going to cause harm on a target. The softer the target, the easier that's where they want to go. So we need to remove that from their thought process, that no school is now a soft target, that we have implementations in place, and whether it's officers, our safe rooms, detection systems, or all of the above would be the prime way to go.
Yeah, and Kevin, I just want to make sure that we have enough time for this. I appreciate it and apologize for the interruption. I want to roll the video of exactly how these work, and would love if you could walk us through it. It's essentially a whiteboard that can withstand even AR-15 fire and no handle on the outside. Is that the idea here?
It is. We want to stop all of the firearm threats that have been used to date in a school shooting of this nature. So we want to give them the opportunity to be able to stop these bullets and be in a safe zone while the police officers do their job. And as we saw, they're doing it well.
Kevin, bottom line, how much does this cost? Who would pay for it? And how can parents ask for these to be put in their classrooms?
Right now we're working with lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Currently, we have about 5 or 6 lobbyists from different states with different concerns that are working on a united front on our behalf to get the money reallocated with what we have. I mean, we can allocate this money, but it's not going to come out of education budgets. It's going to come like Homeland Security, and because this is more of a security-driven issue, not an education issue, and that's not the burden of the schools. It's a burden of us as taxpayers because of the times that we have dealt with the schools. It's supposed to be a safe haven, and it shouldn't be something that they take on by themselves. I think we have so many things being protected other than schools, and it's just weird that we're having to now protect our children in what we once considered a safe haven zone for our children for decades and actually centuries before now. So we want to be able to return that safe haven to our schools.
I hear you, Kevin. I hear you, and I know this is just one step of many, but I truly appreciate you joining us once again to speak a little about it. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching.
I mean, that's damn straight. Like, it should be something that the government, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be up to the local community. We're already strapped. If the government can spend fucking $200 on a fucking light bulb, these are our damn kids. It shouldn't, like, maybe not in the past when it wasn't this big of a freaking thing, but now that it's a common freaking thing where it's like every day, every other day, every other day, some kind of shit's happening. Where you're forcing people to decide between a meal on their table and security for their child. I mean, come on. Exactly. And if something happens, it happens before it gets in. Like, I don't know, it's ridiculous. All right, let's see what else just popped up. If there's a certain case anybody wants to talk about, let me know too. We'll go ahead and discuss it. I'm just going to be going through my folder here. Jeez, how many videos is this? 7? Yeah, it's like this, who was it? It was one of these House or Congress people or something. And this is what I've been saying this whole time, ever since I've been doing my show. You need to have more resources for the mental health resources. You can't just give people a freaking drug and expect them to, like, that's just. And correct me if I'm wrong, I thought this person that committed this Nashville crime had reached out a couple times and she was denied. Okay, this is a News Nation video that just popped out. It's about the sheath evidence, not a smoking gun. I'd like to hear this because ever since we heard about this case, this was supposedly the best evidence and, yada, yada. I never considered it that. So I'm kind of interested to hear what Jennifer Coffenduffer has to say about that. What the heck is going on, YouTube?
And meanwhile, information continues to emerge about the quadruple homicide case on the University of Idaho campus, with a knife sheath found at that crime scene expected to be key evidence. Now, according to an affidavit, the knife sheath was sent to a lab in Texas since initial testing at a lab in Idaho could not connect Kohberger to the crime scene. The Texas lab had only been used for cold cases in the past. Lab workers used kinship DNA on the knife to actually match with Kohberger's father. But now some legal experts say that this detail could work in the defense's favor. This comes as investigators are looking into social media data and phone activity from Kohberger, attempting to determine if the alleged killer had any contact with the victims before last year's murders. Companies like Facebook, Twitter, Tinder, Verizon, Reddit, DoorDash, all receiving more than 60 warrants for information about Kohberger that could be related to the case. So we do want to welcome back former FBI Special Agent and News Nation Law and Justice contributor Jennifer Coffenduffer to speak about this. Jennifer, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Tasha.
So we know journalist Howard Bloom has been tracking this case closely. He spoke to News Nation's Brian Enton just a few days ago about that potential key evidence, the knife sheath. We want to get your reaction to this. Let's listen together quickly.
But you're saying this lab that they sent the knife sheath to has never been used before except in cold cases?
Yes, this was the first time they were willing to take a chance. They wanted desperately to make an arrest. They wanted desperately to tie the suspect to this knife sheath.
Can you help explain this idea that sending it to the Texas lab actually could benefit Kohberger's defense? In what way?
Well, first of all, we're listening to Mr. Bloom, and I have to say the bedrock of the facts known in the public come from the affidavit. And the affidavit makes it very clear the nexus is to the Idaho State lab. Now, is the extension to this smaller lab, are they considering that when this was stated in the PCA? Possibly. But the scientists will explain how they drew that DNA evidence, and I just don't think this is going to be the big deal that it's being made out of by Mr. Bloom.
I appreciate that. And let's say that the knife sheath for some reason is not usable in court to tie Kohberger to this crime. Is there plentiful other evidence that the prosecution is likely to draw upon? For example, the white Elantra being described as a rolling crime scene.
I think it's possible, Natasha, very probable, I should say, that there's going to be much more DNA evidence and other evidence that's extracted from that vehicle. In addition, we can't forget the knife, the phone pings. We can't forget the video surveillance evidence. I think there's going to be a plethora of other evidence that ties Mr. Kohberger, but certainly that knife sheath is very important.
Let's talk about the evidence stalked three of the female victims on social media. We are seeing these new reports that say authorities are actually going back to January of 2021 now, investigating what was on his phone, what he was looking at more than a year before the killing. What do you believe they're investigating, and what are you hearing about him potentially stalking other students as well?
What?
Well, I think it's very important that law enforcement go back that far. We know that when you're looking at what university you're going to go to, you go in advance to check it out, to look at where you're going to live. And it's possible that he indeed had a nexus with these four students, or one of these four students, really one of the two that I think were mainly targeted, either Maddie or Kaylee, in advance of the time frame we previously looked at. And the reason I say that is based on that January 21st, all those all those search warrants that have that date. I think law enforcement is being careful and making sure they go back as far as is necessary to see if there was a nexus back then.
All right, Jennifer Koffendorfer, always appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider.
Come on,
And don't forget.
pause. Jeez. Wow. So that shit wasn't, they're all the way back to 2021. Huh. So was he making trips out there before he enrolled in school? This is Crime, Conspiracies, and Coffee. Let's talk about some things that haven't been talked about. What is this? I need food too. I'm starving. And let's see here. What are the things? All the way back to 2021. That's creepy.
What's up, everybody? How we all doing this afternoon? Nice to see you all. I'm out and about, being a good citizen, wear my mask, following the rules, do what the man says, right?
3 hours ago?
Brian Kohberger case. Remember how little Chad over here told you guys in the beginning that they were submitting PCs for a search warrant, and they submitted a couple probable cause affidavits until they finally were able to get the DNA match from his dad, supposedly, and match it to him. This is making more sense now that today News Nation article came out. It says and claims that when the sheath was sent to the lab in Idaho, no DNA came back on the knife sheath or the button snap, nothing. So it was sent to a lab in Texas. And then all of a sudden, one was sent to Texas, they were able to find trace DNA. It supposedly matched back to Kohberger's father. So it does make sense that they submitted a probable cause. But what this is telling us is that they have really no evidence on this guy at all. Do you realize, for example, the Madeline McCann case? The father had a rental car that had blood in it. Madeline's blood.
What?
You know that? They were suspects for a whole year until 2008 when they were cleared of it. There has been people with more evidence against them than Mr. Kohberger who are still free today. Okay? Secondly, why would they spend all that money to follow him from Idaho to PA to get some garbage out of the garbage when he lives in Pullman? Him and his dad didn't eat. They didn't throw garbage away at his apartment. In their whole trip back across the country, they both wore rubber gloves. Neither one of them had rubber gloves on at the traffic stop. That officer at the traffic stop could have said, "Hey, I'm giving you a ticket. Sign this paper." Now, if he'd have done that with both of them having no gloves on, as we can see in the body cam, they would have got some DNA. That would have saved a lot of time and money. Doesn't make sense to me, guys. If he was really the killer, it really wouldn't matter about this Brady Giglio. Any of that wouldn't matter. Say Xana or Ethan under their fingernails have the Brian Kohberger's DNA. It really doesn't matter at that point how they obtained the DNA. He's hit, man. Just like Dennis Rader, BTK. He's hit. They got him. He decided to admit and confess. Even if he didn't confess, he was getting arrested for those murders. Which, again, he was arrested before he was murdered. Before he said he was BTK. Took him a little after they arrested him to admit he was BTK. But he did. So, why did they spend all that money when they could have, again, took garbage from his apartment? How about his doorknob? I mean, he was a PhD student. I mean, somebody could have followed him around there and got some DNA. Did him and his dad not eat the whole way home? They didn't stop and get gas? And again, if they were both gloved up with surgical gloves, anything they did, you'd have noticed. And secondly, you see them in the car, they didn't have gloves on. Like I said, or the officer could have said, have a good day, guys, and shook their hand. Swabbed his hand. Shit don't make sense. Shit don't make sense. I believe Kohberger was ahead of this or something. But what we need to look at is I'm going to go back over the warrants. This is what we need to look at, the warrants that were served up until his arrest. Like I'd say the final warrant or two will show what led them to be able to get it. And the only thing I'm seeing is that DNA from the garbage. Besides the DNA from the garbage, he didn't, what else they got? What else? So they better have something. And then we're coming up today and they're telling us that that it was sent to a lab in Idaho and came back no DNA and inconclusive. Couldn't find any trace DNAs of anything. But all of a sudden, they send it to Texas. Do you know what that creates in somebody's mind? Do you know what that creates in my mind?
I thought
And
it
I'm
went.
not on the jury. Reason.
That's interesting that he says Texas. I thought it went to Washington. But Texas, that's interesting. It does bring up a lot of questions too.
Reasonable doubt, people. Reasonable doubt.
Right.
When you have any type of reasonable
And
doubt,
you could read the PCA and
you're not
see
going
the
to get
reasonable
convicted.
doubt all over that.
So, if that's their smoking gun and that's the evidence they have against Mr. Koberger, this isn't looking good.
Right.
I told you from the beginning, I almost feel like this is not a what you know, what you can prove in court. Or did Brian come across some information or some crooked cops as he was working in the forensic lab at Pullman or Moscow, realized this, and this is his approach to expose it? I don't know. But it's also odd to me that the media was crucifying this man in the beginning with this, that, and the other thing, and now it's almost like the media has switched and they're talking about how, oh, wait a second, this might not be the guy. It's very odd. I'm very curious to hear your comments about this.
I mean, interesting thoughts. Let me see. We're gonna check out and we're gonna end the show with the next episode from Crime Circus. I'll put that link in chat. And this has to do with the DoorDash fact versus fiction. So a few days ago when we were covering Idaho 4, the whole DoorDash theory came up. We watched Crime Circus. We watched Truth and Transparency. They both made very good points. And so this one came up a couple days ago. And so this is probably going to be the last one, unless it's a specific topic, the last one I'm going to be getting into of the folder of March. And we'll be starting a new folder starting tonight. So we're going to go ahead and check this out. And then I'll end up closing the show. And then, I don't know, I might do some games or something after that. We'll see. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I appreciate it.
In this video, we're going to clear up some confusion on DoorDash. We're going to discuss the possibility of the DoorDasher being the door slasher. We're also going to discuss Brian Koberger, Moscow, Idaho, and some miscellaneous other goodies, because you deserve goodies. And let's dive right in and see what I have to say for myself during this 11th episode. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crime Circus. My name is Drip Drop, and I'll be your host as always. We're just gonna start this video. Boom. Seriously, this video is filled with booms, so don't skip ahead. You don't want to miss a single second of this video. A very brief legal disclaimer. This is a guessing show. This is non-factual. Any names of any people or companies mentioned had nothing to do with this crime, allegedly. This is all just somebody's fantasy, not based on reality. Anyways, moving on. Let's proceed. In episode 10 in this series, I theorized the possibility of Brian Koberger being the DoorDash driver. That theory involves the other theory, assuming Brian Koberger is actually guilty of these crimes. I know some of you out there are convinced he's actually innocent. We're going to discuss the timeline involving the DoorDash driver and the information we have. That's super important. But first, let's discuss the possibility that some of you have brought up out there, that Brian wasn't the DoorDash driver. What if he was the voyeur? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the voyeur. The voyeur. A peeping path, hiding in the woods, peeping through the windows like the path that he may have been. Maybe that's what he was doing in Moscow, Idaho 12 previous times, looking in people's windows. Maybe he saw everything. And when I say everything, I do mean everything. The possibility that the DoorDasher turned into a door slasher and Brian Kohberger witnessed it all. Maybe that's what Brian was doing there, is watching. And he became terrified when he saw what he saw through those windows. He was scared, he was frightened, he panicked. He may have even made his way into the house after the door slasher left, walked to Xana's room and said, "It's okay, I'm here to help you." And then he may have heard a noise, which may have been Dylan's bedroom door opening. And he was frightened because the door slasher may have still been within the home. And that scared him to the deepest pits of his soul. So he went as fast as he could, and his car peeled out of there. Do you think it's possible that Brian was the witness in this case, and he saw the DoorDasher turn into a door slasher? He panicked and he fled. What do you think about Brent Kopaka being the DoorDasher? Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about the ultra-important timeline. Immediately after the crime, the police began canvassing the neighborhood looking for cameras. They had to have immediately become aware of that white car that was driving back and forth the morning of the crime. During all of their original press conferences, they never mentioned a peep about the white car. Approximately 5 days after the crime, Brian Kohberger registered his Pennsylvania Hyundai in Washington State and got a brand new license plate. We're going to have to fast forward about 3 weeks because there was no updates and we don't know anything about what was happening within those 3 weeks. However, what we do now know is on December 6th, the police served a search warrant on DoorDash. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, on December 6th, a search warrant was served on DoorDash, which makes me think that it took them weeks to even realize a DoorDash order had been delivered. Because you would assume if the police were aware of a DoorDash delivery, they certainly would have served that search warrant within 24 hours of finding out about the delivery. They wouldn't have waited 3 weeks. That doesn't make any sense. This is a quadruple passing away. That's serious business. It wouldn't make any sense not to put that warrant in immediately. So that tells me the DoorDasher did not come forward on his own after the crime happened. Within 24 hours, DoorDash responded to the police, which was December 7th. DoorDash gave the police everything they wanted to know. And on the exact same day, December 7th, that's when the police went public for the first time ever that they were looking for a 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra. That's no coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. That's an important clue, an important piece of the puzzle. The next date on our ultra-important timeline is December 13th. So between December 7th and December 13th, that's important. According to the arrest affidavit, the police did speak with the DoorDash driver. Assuming Brian Kohberger or Brent Kopaka is the DoorDash driver, I think it's highly likely that they were spoken to between December 7th and December 13th. Because that's when things really started heating up in this case. And you know that's true. On December 13th, a picture of a white car from a local gas station is leaked to the media. I personally think that that was leaked intentionally by law enforcement in this cat and mouse game. Approximately the exact same day, December 13th, when the picture of the white car leaked, that's when Brian and his daddy fled the state. Also, something to keep in mind, Brian's daddy flew out to Washington. That's a 12 to 24 hour flight with multiple layovers, and I'm not even including the 45-minute trip to the airport or Brian having to pick up his daddy from the airport. There's a ton of traveling for this man to be doing, away from his wife right before the holidays, going all the way across the country when his son's coming home. Also, it wasn't a cheap trip either. It would have cost about $1,000. That's right, $1,000, ladies and gentlemen. Which makes me think maybe the note in Brian's bedroom said, "Dear Dad, thanks for spending $1,000 on the plane ticket. I'll pay you back if I get away with this." Moving along with this ultra-important timeline, December 15th. I bet most of you out there already know this, but it's important. It's part of the timeline. December 15th. Brian and his daddy were pulled over twice, 10 minutes apart, just outside Indianapolis, Indiana. They were supposedly just looking for Thai food. And when Brian's daddy mentioned that they were heading to Pennsylvania, you all saw the look on Brian Koberger's face. He didn't want the police to know about that. On their own, they started talking about Brant Kopaka's situation with the SWAT team, but they did not mention the Moscow, Idaho situation, which was a much bigger news story in the area. No tickets were
that
issued,
was odd.
no insurance or registration was asked for, and no IDs were run. It was an advanced cat and mouse game, and the cat always catches the mouse. And there were dozens of FBI agents, tons of law enforcement, and a whole lot of great minds behind the scenes playing these psychological games on Brian Koberger. From December 15th and on, there's about a 2-week gap in this time frame. We really don't know what Brian Koberger was up to, what he was doing, or what law enforcement was doing behind the scenes. What we do know, Brian Koberger had gloves on. Brian Koberger was going to the grocery store shopping with the gloves on. And he was even caught playing inside of his neighbor's garbage can with his gloves on. On December 30th, in the early morning hours, a raid is conducted on Brian Koberger's parents' house in Pennsylvania, and Brian is arrested. He allegedly asked, "Has anybody else been arrested?" On that exact same day, Papa Roger and Inside Looking disappeared from the internet forever. They both had been obsessed with this case. They had been posting about this case between 18 and 24 hours per day, every single day for a month and a half. On the biggest, most important date out of all dates in this entire case, they disappeared. They had nothing else to say. Nobody's heard from them or seen them since, and both of their accounts have been deleted, and nobody's taking credit for saying that those were their accounts. Please leave me a comment down below with what you think about this timeline so far. This timeline is straight facts, ladies and gentlemen, even though you know this is a guessing show. This timeline is very accurate because I've done my research. And shortly after that is when we heard about the DoorDash driver for the first time ever. It was in the arrest affidavit. Prior to that, the DoorDash driver was not cleared. DoorDash driver was never spoken about. We didn't know about any DoorDash driver, just like we didn't know about any white Hyundai before December 7th. Online sleuths had speculated that there was a DoorDash driver because of the Jack-in-the-Box bag that's on the counter in the kitchen. There's only 2 restaurants open at that hour in that area, Jack-in-the-Box and Taco Bell. They both do deliveries until 4 a.m. I've received a lot of comments regarding the arrest affidavit stating Brian's cell phone was turned off, so he couldn't have been doing DoorDash delivery. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's quite simple. If he was doing DoorDash delivery, he quite simply had a second phone, a burner phone. I see second phones and burner phones used all the time in these criminal cases. It happened in the Dan Markel case. It happened in the Mark Sievers case. So on and so forth. It happened so many times. Also, it's a good possibility that somebody was with him. Maybe Brant Kopaka or somebody else. I'm just guessing and I'm just wondering and I'm just asking questions. Because when I get DoorDash delivery, there's usually 2 people in the car. Sometimes even more. I'll look at my app, I'll see who the person is and what kind of car they're supposed to be in, and it'll be a different gender and a different vehicle. Expecting some guy to show up, and then a beautiful woman shows up on my front door. Anyways, some people set up fake accounts, some people sign up under their friends' names. There's a lot of possibilities there. Let's talk about mileage on Brian's car. That's important. Check this out. So he put 16,000 miles in only 7 months on Brian's car. That's basically impossible unless you are a delivery driver. And in the previous 5 months, he had only put on 2,000 miles on his car. So at a certain point, he began driving a lot. He got behind that wheel without his visual snow, and he was just peeling out left and right trying to park that car. For many years, it's always been stated that the average person puts about 10 to 12,000 miles per year on their vehicle. In the last couple of years, people have been driving a lot less. So 16,000 miles in 7 months is a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Also, when you're doing a Google search in the area looking for a vegan restaurant, the first result is Mad Grief. And Brian's allegedly a hardcore virgin. I mean vegan. Police also did a search warrant on Venmo, and DoorDash accepts Venmo. And according to the arrest affidavit, Xana received the DoorDash order. It doesn't say she ordered the DoorDash delivery order. Also of interest in this investigation, you can gift a DoorDash order. So whoever receives the order doesn't mean they ordered the order. And the search warrant wasn't for Xana's phone for DoorDash. It was for the residence at 1122 King Road. The police want to know all the deliveries that happened in the year 2022. From January all the way up until when the crime happened. Why do you think they want to know that? Obviously, this DoorDasher maybe, might, allegedly could have had something to do with this crime. Also, I'm just going to throw this out there very briefly because many people believe that Brian was stalking those girls. That is a possibility. He may have been stalking them. He may have even just been the voyeur peeping in their windows because he was stalking them. However, it's also a possibility that he was the DoorDash driver and it was a crime of the moment, which means he hadn't previously planned this out. He didn't know he was going to be delivering to them that night and he just decided to do it. And of course, I have to mention this possibility as well, because we must look at all possibilities, and I told you I wasn't going to leave any stones unturned in this case. It's a possibility that Brian had been to that house 12 times prior, delivering DoorDash delivery orders. And those girls may have stiffed him on the tip every single time. And on the early morning of November 13th, they might have stiffed him for the final time ever. He might have just snapped. Because if you don't tip the delivery driver, some of them may get super angry. Angry enough to pass you away forever. Seriously, this is not a joke. Anyways, this really is a tough case to solve because it seems like everybody in the Moscow-Pullman area drives white Hyundai Elantras in big white trucks. And you know what they say about people that drive big trucks. Now I'm going to put this animation on the screen and we're going to have a brief discussion about this. So a lot of you out there don't believe that Brian Kohberger is actually the DoorDash driver. And that's okay, because he may not be. Check this out. Is it possible that Brian was in his white Hyundai Elantra and the DoorDash delivery guy was also in a white Elantra, and the DoorDash delivery driver was in a 2013 white Hyundai Elantra as Brian was driving by in his 2015 Hyundai Elantra? It may have looked something like this. Something similar to a traffic jam on King Road and Queen Road. Maybe even Brent Kopaka was there in his silver Hyundai Elantra. Check this out. Do you think it looks something like this? This is what you call a bird's eye view, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it may have looked like if all those vehicles were there. But that's purely just speculation. That was an animation to help your mind understand what I'm talking about right here in this video. And maybe now that's why we're dealing with some Brady violation issues in this case. For those of you that aren't familiar, a Brady violation is ultra important in the criminal justice system. What that means is somebody attempted to withhold information that may be exculpatory to the defendant. That's right, exculpatory. And what that means is there may be a piece of evidence that actually points to somebody else doing this crime. A piece of evidence that may actually assist in Brian Kohberger's potential innocence. What do they have to hide? Why would they risk this entire prosecution? Why would somebody withhold that kind of information in this case? If their case is so rock solid, what do they have to hide? As of right now, there's a gag order, and this information is sealed, so they're not going to tell us what the Brady violation is. Boy, oh boy, don't we wish we knew what it was. You think it has something to do with Dylan, Enon, or somebody else? Or maybe not a person, but a piece of evidence. You're just going to have to stay tuned to this show because I will be presenting that breaking news once it breaks. I hope you enjoyed this very special presentation, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you watching this show. I appreciate you following me on Facebook, subscribing to my second YouTube channel, YouTube. I'll leave all of those links down below. I'll make it super easy for you to find. I'd like you to leave your comments down below. I will be reading every single one of them, and I'll try to respond to as many of them as humanly possible. Please share this video on all social media platforms. Text it to your friends. Send links to your mom. And make sure your boss is watching Crime Circus too. And if you're out there driving around doing your DoorDash deliveries and you're watching this show, shout out to you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your service.
Very informative video. I always appreciate Crime Circus. Wow. Interesting thoughts when it comes to all that stuff. Really makes you think. And then this info that we were talking about in the show about the internal affairs and such. Two different opinions, Scott Reich and the bed crime stories. Definitely makes you think. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I'm going to go ahead and end the show. I will be back tomorrow night. And I might be on a little bit earlier. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I'm still on overtime or not. If I'm not, I'll probably be on a little earlier. Or if I'm not, normal time, 7 Central. I might just be doing some updates or something for the show. So I'll definitely be back on tomorrow night. Hopefully you get your things figured out there, Punksy. That sucks. I appreciate you. Hope we all have a peaceful and positive evening. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you.